Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to another live stream with me, 320 Sim Pilot, and today we are taking our Jersey European CRJ 700 for a flight from here in Belfast City, where we dropped it off just, 1 or 2 days ago, and then we're going to take it over to Malmo in Sweden, which is very near to Copenhagen really. So we're stretching the legs a little bit. Should be no trouble for this aeroplane, but about a 1 hour 40-minute flight time. I'm excited to be back in the CRJ. We did it on the last stream. It's unusual for me to stream the aircraft twice in a row except for the Airbus, but the reason simply is this airplane was so different, and I knew it would be, but it's so different to what we're used to with the Boeings and the Airbuses, and there's nothing else like it. So if I don't fly the CRJ, there's not, like, when I fly the 757, it helps me remember things for the 737 and so on, whereas with this, it is very much on a world of its own. Same with the Airbuses, the A300. Yeah, it's pretty similar to the 21 and the 20. So I wanted to make sure we had another flight definitely to cement it in, and also talk about some other things that we missed. My last flight on this was very short, really. We've also got this new livery by Padday. I wanted to take that in the air. I was desperate to see a Jersey European livery, and here we have one. And Padday's done a fantastic job of also adding some grime and dirt effects to it, as if it's been around for a little while, or certainly in storage like this one probably would have been. Jersey European, sadly, now no longer flying. Maybe they'll restart at some point, would be very nice. So yeah, the first sort of weathered liveries. We talked on the last stream about how nice it would be to see some weathering in the simulator, and you can start to see that effect here, and there's plenty of it around. Particularly, I like the sort of streaks down the side of the windows. You see this on airliners a lot, particularly long-haul aircraft, I'm imagining, because they spend more time sat on the ground in between flights. But yeah, really, really great livery as ever from Padday. That's available on flightsim.to, of course. So jumping into the chat, just to say hello. Thank you all for coming along this Sunday afternoon. We've gotten quite used to streaming on a Sunday. It's become a bit of a tradition. It didn't used to be. Usually I'm working Sundays, but sadly no flying at all at the moment. So yeah, this is a fine replacement anyway, so it's great to be here. Thanks for coming along. Chick Point, hope you're doing very well. Harry Baumau, good to see you here again in Seattle. Excellent. Must be early in the day there. Tom C, good to see you. Theo, Dave, I hope you're doing very well. And Leopold, it is great to see you all guys here. Maestro Leo, if I didn't say. Window Seat, our resident engineer. Thanks for coming along, Window Seat. Oscar Lamprecht, good to see you here as well. Klaus, Ember, the Sim Pilot, Andy H1302, thanks for coming and moderating. And Padday's here. Padday made this livery along with many other excellent liveries that you guys, I'm sure, are aware of, becoming quite the celebrity on flightsim.to livery community. John Kessler, good to see you. And Matt Haynes, I hope you're doing well. Joseph Mitchell, Sean, Ian. The CRJ does not have auto throttle, correct? No, it does not. That's another reason to keep flying it. Keep remembering to look at that. Lawrence, Ed Haslam, good to see you, Ed, as well. Carter Joel, a very big community contributor as well. Carter made some fantastic engine modifications for various aircraft in X-Plane, and is been incredibly big part of the community. Thanks for coming, Carter. Carter is nearby, 10 minutes away from Belfast City. Excellent. Well, yeah, we will be zooming over your house. You'll be pleased to see, Carter, that this is a freeware scenery on flightsim.to that does an incredible job recreating Belfast City Airport. There you go. They put the name up and everything. I'm so impressed with the flight simulator community as what they are creating with these freeware sceneries. It's such a community effort, but they are doing an amazing job. And over there you'll see the Bombardier factory, which is another reason to fly from here. Bombardier CRJ, of course, being what we are in today. Right, there's loads and loads of people in chat. I'll get in trouble if I say hello to everyone. I do apologise. Lots of people flying along. E-Boss, good to see you. Loads of names. Ralph, I hope you're doing well. Apologies if I miss anyone. Ryan Videos is flying along. Excellent news. Ollie Nut, I am fine, thanks. Landing Gear 001, good to see you as well. Brianny, good to see Brianny. Brianny says, nice to have you on the background while working. Yep, that's the idea, as my voice is often used for background sleep videos. I should do these overnight as well. Shot in the Dark, good to see you as well. Ember, thank you very much for your 100 NOK donation. Really kind of you, Ember. Ember says, thank you for being an inspiration. I just got accepted to flight school to get my CPL with frozen ATPL. My goodness, it's hard to believe my channel has been going long enough for that to be a thing, but also it's hard to believe that it's amazing to hear. That's great. Thank you so much, Ember. Thanks for your very kind donation. Thanks for saying so, and I'm really glad to hear that the channel's been an inspiration to you. It means a lot to me. Thank you, and I wish you all the best. I hope your training goes well, and I hope that the industry is looking in a good place when you come out the other side. But thank you. General Error, good to see you as well, and loads of people. I'm so sorry. Matteo, thanks for coming and moderating. And Captain Dutchy, good to see you again, Captain Dutchy. I'm having a very good day. Ollie Nut says, I'm flying along in the 32NX in the Air 2000 Tapestry. Fantastic, Ollie Nut. So that is one of my all-time favourite liveries, again by Padday, and I was daydreaming about flying that as well soon. We're going to have to get, obviously, the Airbus up in a stream very soon. Carter says that they called it the Shorts Factory, what it was called before Bombardier. I believe they make A320 wings there. There you go, that Bombardier factory over there making airplane parts. I didn't know they made airplane parts there. I wasn't really sure what they did there. I have seen it many times, but there we go. Right, so we're going to get the Jersey European CRJ back up in the air for this flight. It's been an interesting experience last time. I really enjoyed it. Actually, it was a huge learning experience for me to fly the CRJ on the stream, because I thought I had a few things under control, and it was still a challenge. And I'm hoping, from looking through the chat, we had a guy in the chat, Matthew Presley. I don't know if Matthew's here today, but he was a CRJ pilot who came along with loads of great tips. So I'm going to try and incorporate a few of those today. We'll see if I can remember or manage them. Dougal McTavish, hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming along and moderating. Yeah, and we're going to try and apply a few of those and just get a bit more proficient at the CRJ. It is such a complex, or it isn't too complicated. The systems are all in there, but what I mean by that is, without auto thrust and so on, there's not as many traps as perhaps you could find in an Airbus or Boeing. But at the same time, it's a handful. It's set up for these short hops, and it takes the focus. Flying these small regional aircraft is often more tiring than flying the commercial airliners like the Airbus. Many pilots will say that to you. If you were to do 4 sectors in this compared to 4 sectors in a 320, I guarantee you'd feel more tired in a sort of a more manual aircraft like this. It's just one of those things. They they require you to really keep your you've got to really have your hand in what's going on all the time, as you should in the Airbus as well. But the Airbus does look after you. There's no doubt about it. Big fan of this livery. Let's see a few more details. Some grime around that escape hatch. I hope that hasn't been used too often. Got a cargo door open there, and look at the state of these engines. The commercial airliners are never as clean as you'd think they would be. I know some airlines keep them really immaculate, but yeah, they don't. They'll end up like that. Look at this. Is that the intake? No, that's the intake up there for the APU. So this could be an exhaust of a pack or something like that. But yeah, draining out of there. Great look, and the exhaust off the engines. On Airbuses, typically, one spawned right next to us, just to help prove my point. They get grubby behind the wheels here. You'll see specks of grease off the wheels on those flaps, because the flaps are often down. You can see all sorts of grime underneath as well that leaks out over the weeks, and especially over winter when de-icing fluid basically washes them. Right, let's hop on board, get ourselves underway. I've managed to do 10 minutes and make no progress, but we've got a few lessons from last time, which I'm sure those of you will remember. So in we go. Zoom and into the flight deck. Everyone's sat, ready to go. See if I can do this transition. There, look at that. That's not bad, is it? So we're going to use the same system as I did last time, which is I've got the sort of the included normal operation checklist from Aerosoft, which is really good. It gives us a good chance to just get the thing up and running, and we'll just talk about some systems as we head underway. So getting rid of that yoke out of the way. By the way, I've watched a couple of videos of this. This yoke looks really nice, and I do remember using it, but I don't remember it well enough to know if I liked it or not, because I did fly the simulator of the CRJ for a little bit, but it looks really nice, really ergonomic. I do like the style of the yoke, definitely. Don't forget the chocks, thanks. So yeah, one of the big tips from last time was don't forget the chocks. We forgot the chocks not long ago, and it makes a mess of the parking brakes. So there's lots of things in here, that might seem frustrating when you start out, that actually are meant to be there. It's just you've got to get it right. AC455, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Anthony, sorry, I still haven't thought up a membership options. It was, I'm not entirely sure what to do with the memberships thing. It's I need to work on that. Sorry, sorry. I did set up a website. That was the closest thing I got to. Lauren V, good to see you as well. Right. Excellent stuff. Right, guys. Okay, so safety check then. You're gonna obviously do the usual, check all your circuit breakers, and then go to the nozzle steering. Very important, that is off. As we said last time, unusually in this airplane, nozzle steering is done from the flight deck and not by the ground crew. I think quite a risky system, but there is a good reason for it on a low-nosed aircraft like this, a low-nosed aircraft like this. I think I said that wrong last time. Hydraulic pumps need to be off. That is these ones down here. A strange place, in my opinion, for hydraulic pumps, but that's where they are, so you get used to it. They are all in the middle position, which is off. They've got 3 positions, so yeah, even harder to tell where they are. Landing gear lever is down. Flight spoiler is retracted, so fully forward. Flaps lever set at 0. We're going to remember today, guys, on takeoff, that we're going to remember to put these to 0. Matthew Presley said in the last flight that they would indeed go. You'd get the warning if you left them out. We didn't get that last time. Still my mistake, no doubt. But yeah, it was just interesting that we got way up to, I think we were at 250 knots. Yeah. But there we go. Right. So, sorry guys, I'm struggling to keep up the chat here. Radar should be off. That is down here. We'll move that armrest out of the way. That's something I have noticed. Lots of quality of life features about this, quality of views. I'm not sure what the phrase is, but there's loads of features like that in this CRJ. So that can be off. So that, you know, the armrests move out the way, the yoke goes down, the iPad has all the features you could want from it. I really like that. The biggest risk is you'll do what I just did, which is start flicking things accidentally. Radar off, ADG manual release stowed, that's down here. That's this RAT, as we would know it in other aircraft. Emergency flap switch should be up and in normal. APU is, oh sorry, and now we're going to power up. We've got an external power today, so let's go battery master on, lots of things ding, and we're going to leave the APU off. Let's get the AC electrics online. It says available, in use. And there we go, we have an aeroplane starting up, fantastic. Now we'll put those IRSs to nav. Most airplanes, you don't sit with the APU running, you know, half an hour before departure. There's just no point. You do it sort of when you need it. Blacklist says you need to put the donation link in the description. Yeah, !donate will give you the Streamlabs donation if you feel so inclined. Thank you. Yeah, I suppose I could put it in the description. I haven't thought of that really. Emergency equipment would now check. Gear pins, airline documents, hydraulic 3A pump on off. Let's have a look. So ECAM panel, as I will call it, just to make sure I don't end up getting it the wrong way around. And we go to hydraulics. And now we see they're all nicely turned off. Then we just turn the 3A one on. Somehow, how do we do that? I do know how, but... Oh, I've managed it before, but anyway. Oh, that's it. Seems to be running now. I suppose in auto mode it should be on, and then we turn it off again. There you go, I'm getting confused. And we will see that system depressurized. There it goes, pressure running down. And away we go. That's good stuff. So we can do our FMS initialization. So I'm going to zoom down here. All looking good. Database is still accurate, which is great news. Window seat says, have you tried your heads-up display yet? We did have a look last time, but I haven't used it much. So that's something to do. Oscar says, fantastic, you're visiting my hometown, Malmo. Excellent, yeah. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. But yeah, Malmo, we'll talk about on the way. Yeah, quite a nice place to go. So, status, all looking good. And what we're going to do is then, now I did have the Aerosoft guide for this, but anyway, all looks good, but we need to go to pause on it. I'm going to cheat again. I'm going to put in the airport, Echo Golf Alpha Charlie. There we go. Copy that position. It will update when we take off, so I'm not too worried about getting the gate completely accurate. In the Airbus, when you do this, you'll end up with a nav misalignment. Not a misalignment, but the navs will sometimes be sort of 1 mile out of line. But when you take off, they'll put it back to 0. So yeah, it sounds lazy, but it's just a workload thing. And there we go. They all... Oh, it's GNSS1 position. All matches actually with the FMS. There you go. So it's all looking good anyway. And next page, page 3, IRS position, all good. So we can go through our flight plan. Echo Golf Alpha Charlie. We are going today to Echo Sierra Mike Sierra Malmo, Sweden, but as I said, nearer to, or very near to Copenhagen. We're going to depart from runway. Oh, that's a good question actually. I heard a controller online, so let's find out. There's more cautions, I think, is that... oh no, there's no controllers online now. So what we will do is I'm just going to grab the weather. Yeah, so let me just do that. I keep forgetting that we don't have access to the ATIS in this airplane. It's something I need to definitely look up. That should make life easier. But I think it's a northerly wind. Yeah, and they prefer 04 for departure. Let's get rid of some of these warnings. So this is a frustration of aircraft that don't have a sort of silencing system. The Airbus knows exactly where it is in terms of sequence. So it knows when it's on the ground, it knows when it's boarding, it knows when it's taxiing, it knows when it's taking off. But aircraft like this, and the Dash 8 was another one, aren't as aware as that. So what you get is, Ollie says I'm departing from 25. Yeah, I think I'll go for 04 just because 04 is what they prefer according to their notes. Anyway, you get these master warnings when the door opens and things. See that big red writing, passenger door. The Airbus wouldn't give you that as a master warning because why would it? You want the door open there. It knows the airplane's turned off. So it's just one of those things. Same with, you can see the oil pressure. Well, yeah, of course the oil pressure's in the red. The engines aren't running. We got the switches off. You know what I mean? So it does ding a lot. Anyway. 04 is going to work nicely for us. Our alternate today, Echo Kilo Alpha Hotel, and I'm not entirely sure where that is. I prefer to go to Copenhagen, to be honest with you. And we're going to be the Jersey 265. Nice to hear the Jersey call sign once again up in the air, and that would appear up on our screen up here, which is a nice. I do like this. I'd like to have that on the Airbus, sort of the flight number written up in front of you. Okay. Remember, execute appears down here, not very obvious. You've got to keep remembering to press it. So we will do that. And then we'll go to next page. And this is our flight plan page, you see. So what I'm going to do before that, let's see what departures. There's no departures in here. That is absolutely fine. Yeah, there's nothing available. There's no proper SIDS out of Belfast. So we are going to do our flight plan, and then we'll talk about how we're going to do the rest. Essentially, we're going to go to runway 04 via, there's no departure, to, oh, now this is a good one. So can I type in the first waypoint in here? Direct Blacker. It's got a discontinuity because there's no departure. So that is what I would expect it to say. And there's Blacker over there. So if I go to legs, we've got runway 04, then Blacker. Perfect. Right. So we'll carry on with the flight plan. From Blacker, we join the Papa 600 Airway. And we're going to take that to Tango Romeo November. Before we basically head oceanic, upper Mike 89, as we go over to Sierra Alpha Bravo, then Lima 983 to Detis. Very simple flight plan system in this. I do like it. It does work really nicely. And remember, execute again, and there's our route heading off over there. If we go to the next page, that's all fine. Perfect. So we carry on with performance in it. Right, let's load up this machine correctly. So performance, we are expecting to take Carter says 04 runway would be the runway to take off. I believe 22 is usually preferred for landing, 04 for takeoff, but they do both fairly regularly. There you go, excellent. That'll be for noise, I'm sure, because of all the airports nearby. Van Raj, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. I hope you're doing well. GPU is an RTX 3080 for this one. We're using live weather. I'm using Aero weather to get my weather. Other than that, I agree. The Air 2000 Tapestry is an amazing, amazing livery. Great stuff. So, Thor KH says, I think the dude recommended using the FMS position rather than the airport position for initializing the tutorial. Oh, there we go, the FMS position. Great. Oh, well, it will update when we get going. Yeah, thanks for that, Thor. Thanks for coming along. Good to see you here. Now, I wanted... How many passengers? I have got the load sheet here. We are going with the passenger number. I think it was in the 50s actually. So I want a zero fuel of about 25.9 is what we were expecting. We've got 25.6, so that actually looks fine. So let's set that payload. Seems about the same as before. It's a little bit, yeah, okay, no, that's fine. Copy that data to the FMS. And also we need to sort out our fuel. I wanted 4.6. So we don't actually have quite enough fuel. So let's go over to our fuel panel. Power. There we go. And I'm going to just top up as ever. Let's go for 5 tons today. The reason I do this is because group flights, I never know if it's going to work out. So let's get that fuel on board. It won't take it long to get that. So that's about 400 kilos extra, which should be plenty. We did have some trouble not long ago with fuel. I don't know if anyone watched my Beluga flights. Yeah, we burnt through an extra 600 kilos. Ollie, that's struggling with that sim. Ah, that's a shame. Hopefully it works out soon enough. Yeah, if you are enjoying the video, do please hit the like button. Thanks for coming along. And thank you very much again for your donation to Mbert. Really kind. Right, there we go. We've got 5 tons aboard. Now, you've got to turn that off and then turn off the power. Otherwise, it won't have actually loaded it on. We discovered that last time. So now 5 tons of fuel. Go over to our iPads. Init fuel from aircraft. Now do set and copy over. Great. So there we go. 52 passengers with our cargo, our 5 tons of fuel. Gives us our weight. We're going to cruise today. Flight level really high actually. 39. F390. There we go. And execute. Cruising level for the alternate. Let's just put in something reasonable. F200. It would be in our flight plan. And execute. So there we go. Taking off at, yeah, pretty heavy. 31 tons almost. So a bit heavier than a Dash 8, certainly. Transition altitude for departure. Almost certainly 6,000. We'll check that in this moment in the charts. Execute. VNAV, sorry, next page. Got to remember to go to the next page up here. Cruising at 390. It wants decimal 74. I'm going to put in decimal. What did I say? I said we're doing 79. Would it take that? I wonder how to change that. There we go. Executes. Active and modified. I saw that up there. Interesting. Finally then for the descent, decimal 74, 290 knots seems reasonable. We'll sort out the transition level. And the 3 degrees sounds good to me. As you guys know from our descent video, we love 3 degrees in aviation. Good stuff. So there's our legs, 04, and then blacker onto the airway, and away we go. Who can think of anything else we need to do for now? I think that's all looking pretty good. So certainly we've initialized. Now someone's going to do the walk around and the cabin inspection. We can check our oxygen mask. I don't think you're supposed to do the whole FMS at that point, but I just tend to do it just to set things up. Audio warning panel, it's called power panel. Something I did want to check was the stall warner, actually. I thought, you know, every time we fly this, we may as well try out a different system that we're not aware of. So this aircraft has a stick pusher. So please remind me in flight to talk about the stick pusher as opposed to just a stick shaker. Let's get these lights all up. It's a bit gloomy today, isn't it? It's really, really gloomy actually here in Belfast. Yeah. So the stall system is one of these lights up here, and as long as we've got that system on, stick pusher is on. Let's go and press that. And there you go. It even works. I'm going to hold it down, and you see it push forward as well. I think it's supposed to push forward after 7 seconds. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, it has that shaker rattling and the pusher system, and you should be able to override the pusher. Not sure. Well, actually, I am sure. I'm sure I'm doing it wrong. But yeah, you should be able to override the pusher if you need to, obviously in case it's activating. So we'll talk about stick pusher in the flight, but it's to do with the way the wings and the tail are set up. You'll notice as well the engines are in quite a nasty place for a stall. If I do that, I wonder if we'll see. Yeah, you'll see continuous ignition appears on the display over here. That's because of the stall. Turbulent air going into the engines, there's a risk of them flaming out. So by continuously igniting them, you're effectively getting them ready to restart if you need them. Anyway, good stuff. So fire detection, external lights panel, definitely need some of those on. We're going to go for nav lights, and we'll have the logo lights, definitely. Good stuff. We've done our fuel. Bleed air panel is going to be over here. No. There we go. So we'll have the reset fan on. I'm going to put the packs on. I mean, of course, they're not working right now, but that's fine. We are going to put the probes on. Sorry, not that. That's the cows. Probes, there we go. We'll have the windshield heat on low. And I think the electrical panel is set up. We're using the AC. What we'll definitely do now is fire up the APU. So master switch on. It will appear down here. APU door closed. Hopefully that will say open in a second. There it is, open. That is our little door back here. Oscar Lamprecht, thank you very much for your 10-year donation. Really appreciate it, Oscar. There's a little door that's just opened up. It was all modelled. I'm always very impressed. And we're going to go start. And it flashes up. Oscar says, love the CRJ. It's my favourite aircraft at the moment. It's so nice to do everything manually, like trimming, thrust management, etc. Have a good flight, and thank you for your videos and streams as always. Thank you so much, Oscar, for your very kind donation. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I hope you're doing very well. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the CRJ as well. It's why I'm back in it. I want to make sure I don't forget everything about it. So here comes that APU. But yeah, thank you so much for your donation. Really kind, Oscar. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing very well wherever you are. Carter says you should have done it earlier. It was sunny up until the last few hours. Yeah. It went really gloomy when I loaded in. I couldn't believe it. Sorry, guys. We are not too far away from being ready, I promise. That's why I'm getting that APU up and running. Anyway, whilst that's there, the start panel we need to check. So all the start lights are out. The hydraulic panel should be checked auto and on. So at this point, we can do auto. and what that effectively means is they're all in auto except for the number 3, which should be on, I believe. So yeah, you end up with this configuration that we had, which is the engine pump sitting there ready to run and the 3A system running on its 3A pump, which is good news. ELT switch up here, arm reset, cabin pressurization set, landing elevation of Malmo is a very good point. Let me just check that. I always fail to do that in time. Let me Google that for you guys. It would obviously be in your charts. I think it's got a bit of elevation to it. Yeah, it looks like it is around about could be 200 feet up. So let's wind that on, cabin press, and then if I get rid of that page, we get to stats. Seems to be the page that this is left on. 140, bit more. 200, that'll do for now. There we go. See, all very professional here, all very professional. Swiss Pilot says, can we also do a stream with the Dreamliner? I'd love to do a stream, but the Dreamliner, I've tried to fly it in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and the last time I flew it, it was barely working, sadly. But yeah, it's definitely something I would consider. Thanks again, Oscar, for your donation. Really appreciate it. The A320 custom autopilot will be available in the installer soon. Are you going to do a stream soon after that? Yeah, I'm already using the custom autopilot on the 320NX, but definitely we'll take a look at that when it comes. Right, cabin pressure we've done. Air conditioning panel check. So it's pretty straightforward, this overhead panel. I do quite like it. I just dislike these switches, as we talked about the last time. So we've got bleed air and normal. We've got the packs now on. They're being supplied by the APU, so we're getting a bit of airflow into the cabin, which is good. Temperatures are set. Cabin pressurization is set to, well, this is the manual mode if you need it, but we're going to leave it in auto. Let's get rid of that ground power. Hopefully I got that right. Yes, we did. Excellent news. And we've got windshield heat to low. Emergency exit lights that's down here. It needs to go to arm. So if we lose power now, it would light up the cabin with the emergency exit lights. Standby compass check. Nozzle steering off. Clocks and instruments check. So clock is checked. Nozzle steering is definitely off. There's a reason it's in there twice. It's just too important. Upper pedestal now, all looking good. Gears obviously down. Anti-skid we want armed. These are just warning lights. See, so that would be, I assume, overheating brakes, potential hydraulic issues, an overheat test warning for the, I think that's for the brakes. Yeah, oh no, main landing gear overheat. So it's funny that, you know, there's not even that sensor in the Airbus. I wonder why there is one here. The 350 is coming if we hit 40,000 subscribers, Ethan Aviation. Hello, Van Devine says, what's this contraption above your heads? I know. We'll try to ignore it. Someone did say last time that they keep hitting their head on it when they fly this aircraft. Someone who does actually fly it, which I can believe. Thrust quadrant now, so those are checked. They should be in shut off. Thrust reversers are off instead of armed. Ground lift dumping we want in auto. You can have it in manual arm or manual disarm. But we'll leave it in auto. A 7-mile final trims for runway 4. Checked. Your Belfast City. Time to engage. Yeah, this I don't like at all. I have to press these here to engage them. No feedback on that switch. You can just see it disappear from the warning panel up here. Same for stab trim. Engage that. And same. Mac at least has a light that goes out. So there we go. Mach trim, by the way, guys, as you get closer to the speed of sound, there's a tendency for aeroplanes to nose down. So there's a system called a Mach trim that, as it senses your Mach number increasing, will automatically trim the nose up for you, aside from the normal trimming system. Right, source select panel, that's all down here. This should all be set to norm. There we go. Right, passenger signs are going to come on. We've got our fuel on boards. There we go. Landing elevation set. Time to set those altimeters. Let's cheat. Press B. 1029. There we go. FMS is checked and set. IRS aligned, and then nav. Radios and navos takeoff briefing. So we're pretty much there, guys. The last thing to do now is just confirm on what we're actually going to do for this departure. So let us bring up the charts for you guys. So won't spend too long on this, but it's pretty small. I can appreciate that for you guys. So here we are. We are parked up on stand 6. Here. At the angle, number 6. So we're going to depart from 04. So we'll push back, taxi down. We'll go for full length departure, quite a short runway, and I'm going to do a flaps 20 takeoff. We'll talk about the process of that later. You'll notice there are some noise abatement procedures for our takeoff. We are 04 departure, jet aircraft. So at 500 feet, we make a left turn to 033, then 3,000 feet before commencing turn, then as per ATC clearance. If I look at our departure chart, there isn't a whole lot to say here. There's a 250 knot speed limit until 100, and we're not actually above 35 tons, so I might even ignore that. But yeah, so 033, get to 3,000 feet. So effectively a bit of a left turn to take us out over the bay, over the water, and then make a right turn on towards Blacker. And I'm going to stop at a pretty sensible, I think, 6,000 feet. Pretty standard. I actually think the airspace may dictate that. Belfast usually actually has you depart you and level off quite low, but I don't want to make life difficult today for the sake of it if there's no air traffic control around or no area controller. So that is the plan, guys. So let's go and tune the navies we need. I'm going to just put in, I think, the Belfast NDB in case of a return. Which will just point us, we can just find our way back to the airport if we need to go out and fly an ILS or something. Other than that, I can't get too excited. The terrain is safe up to we're safe above 2,800 feet on our northerly departure. So once we're above 3,000 feet, we're safe, which is great. Daniel Pedersen, thank you very much, Daniel, for your very kind 119 SEK donation. Really appreciate it. Daniel says, thanks for the great stream. Been to Sweden in real life. I have been to Sweden in real life. I absolutely love it. So yeah, thank you very much for the donation. Really kind of you, Daniel. Thank you. I hope you're doing very well. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Sweden and Malmo as we get up there. Jetpack Away says, don't have departure charts on ChartFox, so keep yours up for us. Okay, there we go. Well, actually, I can already see I've forgotten to remove them for you, so let me let me do that and jump back into the chat. So, yeah, it is time for us to get ready to go. Aaron says, hello from Australia. Thanks for all the streams. I usually watch them after because it's currently 3 AM, but I'm on nights. We'll see how long until I'm sleeping. Thanks, Aaron. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming along. You'll notice another little detail, which is just one of those things I really like. I'm all about sort of creating the feel of a little model world, as it were. So I like these air stairs have the barrier down there. Jump back into the flight deck. We can actually put those down.
Belfast City traffic.
There you go. They even fold away properly. So if you were using air stairs, a jet bridge to connect, now that seems ridiculous to me, but I think some airlines do it. They'll connect a jet bridge onto here and have their passengers walk on like that, which must be quite amusing. But there we go. Oh, that's the drone view. We don't want that. So anyway, we've got our APU up and running. I think we're ready to go. Let's close that door, close the cargo door, close the aft cargo door, get rid of the ground power unit. We will not leave this page up. Please remind me, if any of you see me leave this page up, let's get rid of the wheel chocks as well, then please tell me, because that's how we ended up accidentally going cold and dark whilst taxiing out. Now, the designer came along to the chat and did tell us that he's working on getting rid of that. Or making it so that doesn't happen. But yeah, it's not really a bug with the sim. It's a bug with the way you have two screens set up, I think. Ed Haslam, thank you very much for your £1.99 donation. Really appreciate it, Ed. Ed says, many thanks for another CRJ stream so soon. You're very welcome, Ed. I'm glad you like it. I know some people were a bit disappointed to see the CRJ feature so much on the channel, but I mean, it's only been... it only released on Wednesday, didn't it? So it's just basically, if you see lots of videos of a topic, it's usually they are extra videos more than I'm not doing the other videos, put it that way. I hope that makes sense to you guys. But yeah, I just really wanted to fly it today. So let's set up our heading bug. Let's have get that around to something like 040. Actually, I'm going to put it on 033, although that's a track we're supposed to fly. So anyway, that's our departure. Let's put in 6,000 feet into the window for our stop altitude. There we go. We'll go for a full thrust flap 20 takeoff today, because that is going to be sensible for such a short runway. And I said we were going to have the NDB, the 420 Hotel Bravo NDB tuned. 420. In it goes. And if I press on here, bearing 1, I want that pointing at the NDB, so that's pointing back at Belfast for us. It's all coming together. Final thing then, performance. Oh, jumping into chat. Thank you very much, Aditas, for your $5 donation. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Aditas says, thank you for doing these. I'm in IT, but I'm saving up for flight school, hoping to enroll within a year or two. Really appreciate you doing these. You're very welcome, Aditas. Thank you so much for your donation. Very kind. I hope you're doing very well, and thank you for donating towards the channel. And thanks for coming along today. Right. Anonymous wants a great name, as always. It says, I want a jet bridge for a Cessna. Yeah, I'm sure someone out there has done it. Let's do flaps 20, dry runway. The speeds are all there, so I'm going to say set all, because there's no way I'm sitting here scrolling through them individually. Landing speeds, we're not worried. So yeah, do please keep an eye on me for the flaps on takeoff as well, as you saw last time. Okay, let's see. I haven't seen if there's Northern Lights in the sim, but no, thank you all very much for your donation. Thank you again to Elitist for your very kind donation. Thank you to Oscar, Ed, and Daniel, of course. There we go then. Performance speeds are set up. let's just have a sensibility check. So that is a sort of northeasterly departure to Blacker. So I'm going to get airborne fairly shortly, make a left turn to 033. I did watch a video of some pilots doing this for real. They engaged speed mode very quickly after getting airborne, but they have 2 pilots. But yeah, it seems to be the way forwards here. Let's have a look at our messages. No smoking, seatbelts, isolation valve, engine shut down, APU's running, bleeds are closed. Bleeds would be closed because the engines are off. Yeah, quite automatic. See, it's bleed air, wing anti-ice, cross bleed, and so on is on normal. So that's all pretty good. Bleed valves, auto, yeah. So we'll leave it as it is. I think it's time to push back. Let's see who's around. Oh, what I'll do as well is let's set up the wing view. I think it was 11. There we go. Fantastic. One thing I have noticed that I'd like to see changed, and I don't know if this is a flight simulator limitation, is that I know I've got the hydraulics powered at the moment, but I think these flight controls do move. Although I noticed only one spoiler's moving. I'm not sure then. But I could get them to move even before we had any hydraulics running. But I'm not overly familiar with the system of the CRJ, I must confess. So I could be talking nonsense there. Okay, someone's parking up behind us. Someone's pushing over there. Let's transmit. We're on Unicom. Belfast traffic, Jersey 265. Pushing back from stand 6 onto Alpha. Oh, I know what I haven't done. I haven't got my pushback helper running. I knew I'd forgotten something. Again, the luxuries of having the fly-by-wire running. Where have I put my pushback helper? There it is. Okay, great stuff. Right, so that is just connecting to the SIM. Mr. Espresso, good to see you. Mr. Espresso says, hi, Captain. Hi, everyone.
Jersey,
Arriving in time for departure. Went running outside in order to keep staying in shape despite sitting in front of flight simulator. Yeah, we must exercise. I agree. Now, hopefully this airplane will either disconnect or move slightly further forwards. That would help us out. You have heating warning. All of those right to the ignition buttons. What have I done wrong up there? Oh yeah, the fuel pumps as well. I think they should go on. So let's do passenger signs on, landing elevation set, altimeter set, FMS checked, set, IRS aligned, nav, radios navigator set, takeoff briefing complete, personal electronic devices off, APU is on, electronics are checked, takeoff data is set, doors closed. Oh, I just felt something move. I always hate hearing that noise. What was that? Did anyone see? What's that one over there? Windshield, high, low, no, that's all fine. After cargo, conditioning air, off, on. We'll leave it off. I don't know how many of you are back there. Oh, there could be quite a few of you, 429. Do please like the video if you are enjoying it. You have heating warning, all of those lights. Not sure. Anyway, doors, time to get that beacon on. Before we start up, warns the ground crew. Fuel pumps and quantity can go on now. So the fuel pumps come on. We've got our 5 tons of fuel, which is plenty. Hydraulic pumps are auto and on. Parking brake, time to come off when we're ready. So let's check outside. Is there space yet? Not really. Let's see. I'm just going to check if that other person is flying along with us. Usually if people are flying along with us, they tend to be quite happy.
Belfast City Airport, EZ90, pushing back from stand 4 onto Alpha.
That is the DHL coming to Malmo as well. Right, so we are going to push back. I already shouted it out, so I'm just going to do it. So let's get the tug connected. Everything else is ready. You've got our beacon up and running. I'm excited for this one. Time to get going. Hopefully there's no sort of model interaction issues as we do push back. If we stay in the flight deck, we won't notice. And last sensibility check. APU is on. We are running on the APU, not the ground power. Everyone's pushing back now. Belfast is such a tiny airport for this big group. So you see there the warning inboard spoiler ons. So although we have some hydraulic pressure, you see that the outboard ones aren't working. I don't know. This is a very confusing system to me. Daniel says, is this better than the 32NX? Well, this is a finished product, whereas the 32NX is very much a work in progress. The 32NX has more features because it's a more complex airplane. But this is a very complete product. So if you like the CRJ, I can't see anyone complaining about this. It's just... I have been impressed with it, I have to say. And that's just my personal opinion on it. Okay, the tug is there. I'm going to release the parking brake. You guys will remember the fiasco last time, but make sure your chocks are gone before you do this or it won't work. We've got our VHF working. Oh, yes, and the squawk is on 2000. That's fine. We're on Unicom up there. Okay. Brakes off. Let's hope we've done everything. Haven't got any more warnings. Nothing too shocking over there. Let's reverse. Away we go. Can I start the clock? There it goes. We're timing the flight today. Golden Wick, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. The sim pilot had to switch to PC phone as not big enough to watch and chat at the same time. Phone screen was not big enough to chat. No, watching streams on the phone is quite difficult. I have tried. There we go. We've made it through that one. And let's see. Can I coordinate a decent pushback? I'm sorry to this person here. You're going to get stuck. But I'm a little bit limited on how I can maneuver here. Van Raj says the 320 and CRJ are quite different kinds of planes as well, which makes them hard to compare. Oh yeah, there's no comparison. It's just in terms of quality. But I mean, the fly-by-wire product is incredible. It's incredible. Okay, we won't make this too
Golf pushing back.
difficult. Golf Foxtrot Golf pushing back. There we go. Maybe I should have done a straight pushback. And stop. There we go. Going to set the parking brake. Say goodbye to the tug.
But we're not pushing back. We are going. We're in a hour, so we'll just be turning back.
Perfect. Right, time to start engines. Oh, actually, no, we should go to our checklist page now. Okay, so we'll say we've done that. We've done passenger signs, landing elevation, altimeters, FMS, IRS, radios, navs, takeoff briefing, cleared to start, devices off, APU on, electrics, takeoff data, doors, beacon, fuel pumps, hydraulic pumps, parking brake. That's all done. Next is after start. So I think we just have to do this ourselves. Oh my goodness. Right, let's start engine number 2. Really easy. Best start system I've seen in a long time. We press start. We see our N2 increase. When it reaches 20%, we're going to turn the fuel lever on. And luckily, the ITT is down. Giuseppe's Gaming, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. I agree with Giuseppe, actually. Yeah, it's great to have both the 320 and the CRJ. And I mean, the 320 is free. I mean, it's just, who can argue with that? But it's great, and it just improves so much. It's got so many details as well that you would expect only from payware. Right, lift that up into the idle detent. Just check its back. There we go. And we should see fuel flow. There's the fuel flow. And it's spooling up. Just check I'm not on the panel states. No, I'm not. Good. And here it comes. Giuseppe says, now we just need PNVG 737 and a Dash 8. Can you imagine? Yeah, that would be great. John says, I really want the CRJ and Piper Arrow for FS 2020, but my sim is so unstable, I'm not sure they're worth the money. That's a shame. Yeah, that is a shame, John. I might have missed that. Was someone complaining about me being in the way? I wouldn't blame them. Right, there we go. Done. Start number 1.
Golf, can you repeat, please?
N2 increasing. ITT needs to be below, I think it was 120 degrees. Similar to the 737 startup. Yeah, I think so. But what I like is that it's all connected to the thrust lever. George is always impressed how fast you can work through the checklist. So what I'd like to say is that when I whiz through checklists like that, I'm actually just reading it out to you guys, but that's not how we do it in real life. In real life, you take these carefully. So you'd say devices off, APU on, electrics checked, takeoff data set. And remember, this could be answered by the other pilot as well, which would slow it down. Yeah, we don't do them anything like I've been doing there. Right, 24% N2. Yeah, I'm sorry, I should make that clear. The reason I'm rushing through it like that is just because I'm not applying that checklist quite as it should be. Giuseppe says, anyway, I'm off. We'll watch the rest later when I wake up. Have a good nap, Giuseppe. Thanks for coming along. Yeah, have a good nap. Van Raj says, if you like the CJ4 working title mod, you're very likely to like the CRJ in the terms of systems. Yeah, I haven't found the system that I want in this airplane yet. You know, it all seems to be there. Look at this. I'm going to do MFD.
Golf, taking off runway 04.
Menu. Window on. And there we go. And now I'm going to change that to format to a sort of arc display like I'm used to. I think that was pretty much it. Oh, look, even got TCAS. See, it's all here. It's all here. Yeah, so when we turn around, that'll make more sense. Legs. There we go. Right, that engine started up nicely. So, after start check is generators in auto. Up there, they're in auto. I do love things that say auto. Electrics checked. Bleed valves are auto. Yeah, we left them in auto for the start. I imagine the reason you wouldn't have them in auto would be for things like cross bleed starts and failures, things like that. Packs are on. Yep, they are
rolling.
over there. APU is on, but I think we can turn it off now. Let's have a look at that electric page. Is there an electric page? And just check.
Traffic.
All looks good.
320.5.
APU coming off. It's taken us a bit longer than I hoped, but there we go. Right, APU's coming off. We don't need that anymore. Anti-ice off. Nose wheel steering. Armed nose wheel steering. Time to come on. Well, I also don't... I think I'd set the flaps now, so I'm going to do that. Flaps 1, 8, and then 20 for takeoff.
Golf Foxtrot Golf, we are doing patterns. We'll be turning left onto downwind.
Performance. Let's just set our trimmer now, because these are things that I don't want to do while I'm taxiing. 7.2, so we can see that up there. That is going to be a bit nose up, but I've found, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, that the plane tries to rotate on me early. So I'm a little bit wary of having that. Golden Wick says, if I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, would I crash a lot? Well, it depends if you lower the settings, but I use 20 gigabytes of RAM quite regularly, especially flying over London. I'm holding up EasyJet, says Lauren V.
Golf Foxtrot Golf is on downwind.
Okay, we're going to taxi Belfast, Jersey 265, taxiing to holding point 04. Right. Beacon, sorry, taxi lights on, brakes released, let's get out of here. I hope you guys can hear the aeroplane a bit. That EasyJet's been waiting for ages. And there we go, flaps are out, looking glorious. Yeah, really nice. I do love the grime and dirt that Paddy's included on this one. We can run our flight control on the outside. Let's have a look. So full right, there we go, both spoilers working. Full left, neutral, full up, full down, neutral. Check those brakes, they work, and a bit of left and right rudder. Yeah, you can see that stabilizer looks very trimmed up.
On base turning final for runway 04.
I'm not entirely convinced about that trim number, or maybe it's just the way I've got it set up. Jetpack away, says beep beep, I'm behind you. There we go. We are getting out of the way for you. Yeah, there's no ATC on that sim, Ollie Nuts, but we're just making do. I think this is our course.
Jersey 320 stand 5, pushing back.
There we go. The other jerseys are taxiing out. Excellent stuff. So after starts, we've done taxi checks, slats, flaps, flight controls, trims, thrust reversers. Let's get the thrust reversers armed. There we go. They are armed. I don't like that system. I don't see why you need to arm them. But there we go. Flight instruments are checked. Brake temperature is 0, so that's all good. And we can remove power to the APU. Don't need that for sure.
Easy 90 holding at Alpha.
Right, let me try and get my desk set up for takeoff. It's always a bit of a challenge. We'll enjoy that wing bounce effect that they've included. What's quite good in Flight Simulator is that even in the drone view, you can't control the aeroplane because your controls control the drone. But it's quite nice that you can control the aeroplane in the wing view.
Golf Foxtrot Golf is 320 sim pilot among us.
Yeah, I'm taxiing out to 04 now. I think I recognise that voice from that Manchester stream we did.
Golf Foxtrot Golf. Hello, what a coincidence.
Indeed. User says...
Easy 90, lining up runway 04.
There goes the EasyJet in front of us. That jersey's pushed back. There we go. Excellent. I wonder what they're in. We'll look it up when we're on the way. So it's taken us 50 minutes to get going. Not terrible. Not great. Not terrible. So for takeoff, guys, here's the plan. You can hear the cabin crew doing their PA. We're going to do the same. We're going to hold it on the brakes, set a bit of thrust. Then we're going to release the brakes. We're going to go 2 clicks into toga. So only 2 clicks on this one. Then we're going to get going. We're going to release the yoke by 80 knots. We're going to press the toga button here. It's actually what you'd really do is press this little grey one here to bring up the toga. I can do it now. There you go. And if I turn it off, it goes off again. So we're going to do that, and that will get us underway.
Traffic UPS 303 heavy is pushing onto Alpha.
And we're going to rotate. Last time I had to go up to about 20 degrees to get the speed back. As soon as we're in the air, I can press speed, which is the one above the speed knob there. And once that's done, we can follow the flight directors. Take ourselves...
Push and start from stand 1.
We're going to take ourselves left onto 033 after passing 500 feet. And then we're going to do that until 3,000 feet. And then we can turn en route, by which point I'll have the autopilot in. Now, flaps retraction is a bit of an issue. Parking brake on.
Easy 90, taking off runway 04.
There goes the Easy in front of us. Jersey 265, lining up runway 04 Belfast. Okay, EasyJet's going. Let's do our before takeoff checklist. Time to get the landing lights on, strobe lights on. That would do for that. Fuel crossflow now needs to go to manual. Let me make sure I get the right one. Manual. There we go. Apparently there's a risk of spillage or something like that. Brakes released. It's clear on the approach. Lining up. Flight attention advised. Transponder TCAS should be on. Now I have been struggling with the transponder TCAS. It says standby. Why have I got that wrong? I was hoping it'd be in auto actually, but there we go. We'll see if we can figure that one out when we get up in the air. If anyone knows in the chat, do say so. Thor says there's a key binding you can set up to enable disable flight controls while in drone view. Ah, very good. I will have to do that. Possibly C. I did not know that. Excellent. And radar terrain. We're just going to go with terrain, but that doesn't actually work at the moment. That's coming later. And CAS checked. So CAS is our little display over here, giving us lots of warnings. You can see man crossflow and so on. So if I press the right button, CAS. Oh, is it CAS? No, it's not CAS. There is a way to box those messages. I thought I'd figured it out. Anyway, you can box them and then it will pop up with a message if you have any other problems. That makes it more obvious that the status has changed, which is why people do that. So away we go. Okay, someone on approach. Pol 9, thank you very much for your 20-euro donation. Really kind, Pol 9. Thank you, really generous. Pol says, have a good flight there. Thank you so much. Sorry, I won't have much time to talk about it, but thank you for your very kind donation. Thank you for watching and supporting the channel so many times. I really appreciate it. Jersey 265 taking off at runway 04 Belfast City. Okay, so there's someone on approach, but we're not going to let that concern us. We've got all our lights on, ready to go. So holding it on the brakes, getting the thrust up, pressing the toga button, so the FMS is now realigned with where we are. Hopefully I've got this right. Releasing the brakes, 2 clicks forward. There's our toga, pushing forward on the stick a bit, rotating about 124. Okay, away we go. The flight is underway.
Delta 678, holding flight runway 25.
Should have no trouble getting off the ground here. We're now into takeoff inhibit, as you guys are talking about. 80 knots, stick to neutral. I suspect it's going to rotate on its own anyway. We shall find out shortly. B1 and rotate. There it goes. But then you do have to keep pulling to get it up in the air. And keep pulling because that speed shoots up. Positive climb. Gears coming up. And now, holding it at 20 degrees, I'm going to press speed. And then it allows us to follow the flight directions just to maintain the current speed, which is pretty good. 500 feet, left turn now, 033, which is pretty much what we're on, just a bit of a left turn, just for noise abatement.
Unexpectedly on the runway without saying anything, but anyway, yellow 47 Golf, taking off runway 04.
There's our autopilot engage. We're up through acceleration now. So, plan for flap retraction, V2 plus 12, we're going to go to flaps 8. So, let's see if I can figure this one out. I'm in speed mode. Let's wind up the speed. There's some glare off there. Let's try and get this right. I got this so wrong last time. V2 plus 12 flaps can go to 8, so that's in one stage now. V2 plus 20, which today V2 was way down 132, so they can already go to flaps 1. It happens so quickly. VT minus 15, we're above VT, flaps to 0, so let's get them all the way in before I forget. We're through 3,000 feet now. Let's go direct to... It's already gone to out capture. That's fine. Flaps are definitely up at 0. Good. I want to go direct to Blacker. Why can't I see it, please? Let's do direct. Put it there. Would that work? Execute. Nav. Speed's rushing over 250 knots. Get that thrust back. You need it back out of the flex gate as we go through 1,000 feet. There we go. Out capture. 6,000 feet is fine. That is still on the QNH, but we'll just get our speed back to 250 knots. Okay, how are we looking then? The gear is up. Flaps are at 0. It happens so fast. It has so much performance. But anyway, that is us away and leaving Belfast behind. We've stayed out over the water, you can see, hence that noise abatement departure. I'm sure you guys have seen a million things that I've done wrong there. Golden Wick says, Skipper, I got the TTA Thrustmaster side-stick and throttle. I've been waiting that for a while. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I don't know what's going on with that sim. May have to disconnect in a second if that... or we actually would change frequency. Let's change frequency for a bit. People misbehaving on it. Right. Okay. I think we're stable. Let's do our after takeoff checklist. So, well, it's a climb check. Fuel cross-flow can go to auto now. We've passed the risky point. Bleeds and APU set. Thrust reversers off. CAS checked. Thrust reversers coming off. Has anyone figured out which button I should be pressing to clear those messages? I haven't. But anyway, any messages there? No smoking, seatbelts. All looks good to me. Okay. Well, no air traffic control. Time to climb. Nav mode's working nicely for us. Heading northeast. Let's just go up to 390. Let's do it. Such small writing. It is hard to spot when you have to zoom out on this. It's not Aerosoft's fault. It's the way the airplane is. 39,000 feet. There we go. So we're going to go to speed, climb, and away we go. We'll climb at 250 knots initially. So now we're forcing the airplane to use climb thrust, and the airplane is having to pitch up to try and maintain 250 knots. At least I thought it would. Doesn't seem to be working. Let's try speed mode again. There we go. Climb. There we go. It was saying out capture, which would explain it. Got to read those FMAs carefully. Back to 250. You have to be very deliberate with your selections on the this mode control panel. Be really careful. All these buttons look exactly the same. I'm not a fan of this design in the aircraft because every button looks and feels identical, and it's just these knobs that are slightly different. Not very good. The Airbus has a really nice layout, I think, in my opinion anyway. But there we go. Right, away we go. Definitely need to set standards, so let's do that. We can click the yoke out of the way and set the barrel push for standards. You can hear the cat complaining now like it's the end of the world. I'm not sure what her complaint is. What's going on? I will just have to go and find out in a second. 10,000 feet. Get rid of those landing lights. Let the passengers wander around. Let's accelerate up. There we go. She's forced her way into the room. The first officer has finally showed up for the flight. Sounds like the end of the world, but I promise she's a very talkative cat. So we said we were going to go at 290. There we go. So Tiny says you have to put the thrust levers into climb and then engage speed. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Oh, I see, but I pressed speed and then did it. Does that not work as well? Mr. Specialist says, what is the sequence for the autopilot to engage? I cannot get it to work. Yeah, as long as you've got the nav modes on. Hello. What's going on? You right? Very concerned cat for some reason. She is calming down now. User says, why not VNAV? There's no VNAV button. We don't have a VNAV. It doesn't have the mode. Apparently it can be fitted to some aircraft. But yeah, it's simple autopilot on this one. It's, you know, I flew the Dash 8, and on the Dash 8 it was the same idea. You'd climb. We actually used to climb in IAS initially, and then we would change it to pitch sometimes, which is really strange now. You'd never do that in the Airbus. You pet that cat right, meow. Yes, indeed. She's fine now. She's on my lap. Thank you again, by the way, to Pol9. Thank you for your very kind donation. Really appreciate it. And yeah, sorry, somebody was on final approach, so we just had to get going.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now serving sandwiches.
Simon says, too busy at Belfast. Decided to go from Manchester and join up with you en route. Fingers crossed you make it on time. Thanks, Simon. Look forward to seeing you there. I think the autopilot can be engaged above 600 feet in the CRJ. The Dash 8 we used to engage it after 1,000 feet. The Airbus is amazing. You can engage it a few seconds after liftoff. It's remarkable how powerful the autopilot is, indeed. The SimPilot says you can get a working VNAV if you go to EFP options page and enable coupled VNAV. Yeah, but I like flying it like they would. And I read Matthew's very kind information on our last stream. He said that they would descend using, they wouldn't descend using speed mode. They would descend in vertical speed, which reminds me so much of the Dash. So it's great. But there you go. We've gone to roll. How do we do that? This happened before. It's not accepting that. Will it not go from roll to nav? Let's recenter the heading bug. Let's go to heading. What's the two-way point? Looks like it's still blacker actually. So let us go to... Let's go to Tango Romeo November. Please execute heading nav. There we go. So seems like in roll it won't let us jump straight to nav. Interesting. Happened last time. At what point? I remember if you change source it reverts to roll. Maestro says a few of us flying together in the same route in normal multiplayer. Very good. Yeah, I do think about flying along in the multiplayer servers sometimes, but it's quite nice when you do get bats in control. They do help us out. Pole 9, yeah, the cat is very cute. Robert says, to set the transponder, there is a knob labelled 1 standby to above the stab trim wheel buttons. Okay, there we go then. You see, guys, it's all here. It's just never where you think it is. Oh, where are we going? What was I looking at? Stab trim, stab trim. Inhibit ATC selector. 1? Does that work? No, it says... Yeah, no longer says standby. That is really, really interesting system. Yeah, see? I mean, who would have known? That doesn't look anything like I'd expect it to. Let's get the radar onto weather and see if we can get anything out of that today. I'm not sure if it does work. I think it might, but I know the terrain doesn't work just because of the limitations in the sim. What else looking good? Simon Schmidt, thank you very much. Simon Schmidt, 320, for your very kind €55 donation. Really kind. Simon says, thank you for another Sunday made way better. Simon, that's really generous of you. Thank you so much. That is really, really kind of you. And I don't know what to say to that. That's really generous. Thank you, Simon. And I'm chuffed to bits that you're enjoying the videos that much. I'm glad they improve people's Sundays. But thank you for that donation. Really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for supporting the channel. It's yeah, incredibly kind. Really, really, really appreciate it. I hope you're doing very well, Simon, wherever you are in Europe. I have forgotten, I'm afraid, if you have told us. But yeah, thank you, Simon. Really kind. Union Jack, this airline is Flybe. That became Flybe, yeah. It was, well, we'll do a little bit of the history. It was Jersey European, that's how it started in the 1970s. It then became British European. They sort of rebranded. Not long after that, they rebranded into Flybe, and they merged with BA Connect and became this the largest independent regional airline in Europe. That was their sort of tagline. There's those contrails coming out. Glorious. So yeah, it's that's what they are. They're not the only Channel Island-based airline to subsequently change their branding. They started off your Chanex, you'll remember, Channel Express, Channel Islands Express, now Jet2, of course. But yeah, Jersey European became British European briefly, and then Flybe, as you know it. So here we are in our Jersey European. Thank you again, Simon, for that donation. Really appreciate it. Really kind. Sean says, press stats to box the white messages. Ah, stats. I was obsessed with Cass. Oh, really? So you press the same one again? There it goes. Yep. Okay, we're turning. Heading en route. ADF seems to be pointing off into nowhere at the moment. Obviously, got no signal. Let's change that to FMS 1. Not sure really what that does. Let's change it to VOR 1. There we go. Piano Learner says, your last CRJ stream to Belfast, Matthew Presley gave some great insights as a real-world CRJ pilot. You missed a few of his tips and answers to your queries while you're busy flying. Yeah, Piano Learner, I went back to that stream to see his messages. That's where I got the flat retraction profile and the VNAV tip. Or should I say the vertical speed tip. Mike Bond, thank you very much, Mike, for your $10 donation. Really kind, Mike. Mike says, your streams provide a calm in the storm of flight prep and operations. Thanks so much and keep it up. That's great to hear, Mike. Thank you. Does that mean you're flying long today? But yeah, thank you so much for your really kind donation. Thank you, Mike. I hope you're doing very well in America. Always amazing me. We have people from everywhere here. You can see now that it's transferred to climate .74. So that's working out quite nicely. Heading over to its new routes. Half bank, apparently it does that past a certain flight level that we were told last time, so there we go. All looking pretty good. Thank you again, Mike, really kind. Thank you for your $10 donation. And I'm always glad my streams come across as calm, because yeah, they aren't always in my mind. Last time it rings a bell. OP Gaming says, love you, I'm from India. Great, thank you very much, OP Gaming, and I hope you're doing well in India. Thanks for coming along to say so. Simon says, watching you from a very cold and snowy Austria. Oh, there we go, Austria. Very grateful for all the content. You're very welcome, Simon, and thank you again for your donation. Really, really, really appreciate it. I agree, Ethan's aviation, it is sad news about Flybe, absolutely. We might be able to get some nice drone footage today. It's MB, thanks for your €1 donation, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's MB says, love your videos and streams. Thank you, MB. Really kind of you. Thanks for coming along to say so, and thanks for your donation. Sean says, it's flight level 316 for half bank. See? You guys are the experts on the CRJ now. I'm almost like a passenger. I like this window. I think, that is a big, wide window. The Dash 8 was the same, just one window bar. The Airbus has obviously 3, but I will confess the Airbus second window probably starts back here, because that third window is basically all the way behind you. Dave N says, 2 flights in one day, you're spoiling us. Yeah, if you guys enjoy my videos, there is a new video on the channel where I fly the updated Just Flight Arrow around. We do a little bit of VFR flying. We'd leave Benbridge, which is where I ended up on our last group flight, and we head up to Blackbush, which had some new scenery, which Just Flight kindly sent over. So if any of you are interested in that, it's available on the channel now. Mike Bond says, the contraption above your head is heads-up display. Generally speaking, when would you use it in flight conditions? I wish I knew, Mike Bond. We'll need Mike Presley to come along and explain to us, because I've never used a HUD. I think in like the Dreamliner, I think it's used all flights, as far as I'm aware. I don't think they stow it. I think you just leave it up. But I'm not sure on that. MPS Gaming, yes, the CRJ does work with Thrustmaster Airbus throttle, and you can set it up to have the detents line up, which is what I got here. So mine are in the climb detent, and it works here. So weirdly, if you have the Airbus throttle, this is one of the best sort of planes to have with it, because it's got the similar detent system, and then you've got the manual thrust range. It's just a bit sensitive on the manual thrust. It does make it a bit tricky. Alex says, when you request taxi, do you say request taxi IFR or just request taxi? No, just request taxi in Europe. Maybe in America it's IFR, I don't know. But I've never said that. Victor Tango, thanks for coming along. I hope you're doing well. And Lizzo5, thanks for coming and moderating. Joe Yip says, check in from Hong Kong and just back from work with night shift. Enjoy your videos. Always like your videos first before streaming starts. Excellent. Thank you for liking them. Yeah, if you are watching and enjoying, do please hit the like button. It makes a huge difference for the channel, and it really, really means a lot to us. We're working towards our 40,000 subscriber. I don't want to say goal, but it sort of is. We've been talking about it for a while now. So if we reach 40,000 subscribers, you've got another long haul flight incoming. So you can watch me sit there and talk for 12 hours, which we managed to, down to the Maldives, and we're going to leave the Maldives and go somewhere else. Ethan says they don't use the HUD all the time, I don't think. Okay, yeah, so the CRJ, maybe it's not used quite as regularly. The trim wheels? No, there's no trim wheel in here. This is all modern. We've got our trimmer on the stick here. There'll be one on each side, and down here you've got your aileron trim and your rudder trim. If you wanted to trim those out, you can do. I think it does seem to work, yeah. Yeah, it's great. See, this is why I wanted to fly this airplane again, just drilling in some of these things into our mind. Maybe we'll get some more information out of here. Like, I didn't put in the leg wind. Why didn't I end up doing that? Was that in the VNAV? Where did I put in the cruise wind? I remember doing it last time. There it is. We can stick that in a second. Rachel Tango, I'm doing very well. Hope you're doing well. Mr. Treeman says, does nose wheel steering come off now? No, it's not in any of the checklists. I think it stays on after start, taxi before takeoff, climb, we've done. And the reason I say that is because you're going to want it during the later start part of the rollout, so there's no reason to turn it off. The whole... Well, yeah, no, I don't think there's any reason to. No. It turns off, I think, automatically as it comes up. If I did read today that if you're... Thank you very much, Lupus, for your very kind donation, your 358 donation. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Lupus. Lupus says, put donation link in video description. I'll do that next time, Lupus. I do apologise if that would help people. I try not to sort of flood the streams with donation requests, but if you guys would like it in the description, then I can put it there. Absolutely, very easy. No problem at all. But thank you very much for the donation, Lupus. Thanks for your feedback. Ethan says, no trim wheels. Yeah, there we go. Carthy said, I bought the Thrustmaster side stick after your review. There you go. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying it. I bought that, you know, that wasn't sent to me. We bought that with our money here. So, yeah, that was my genuine opinions on it for sure. There we go. Last 1,000 feet. 500 feet per minute rate of climb. Yeah, pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable. Climbing at .76. Once we level off, we'll put in that wind. Martin says, in the US, we don't request taxi IFR or VFR. We just request taxi. Yeah, that's same here then. Masterflex says, your videos have been helpful since I'm new to flight sims. I really enjoy your insight and your ability to communicate your knowledge. Thank you very much, Masterflex. That's really kind of you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's been really humbling as ever. All the kind feedback I get. Really appreciate it. Sam says, why won't my panel lights work? I use the knob but nothing happens. Are you using the correct knob? It's the integ you want. So integ down here. Is the airplane powered up? Have you got the generators on up here? So they should be in auto and the engine's running. Things like that. They're not the brightest integral lights though. On the overhead, for example, that's them fully on. They're just sort of gently there. Right, let me be careful here. Mickey says it's never loopers. That is a reference to House. I'm a big fan of the TV show House. I absolutely love that show. That is not on anymore, but it's great. So that's good to hear that reference. Out to capture. There we go. Go on airplane, you can do it. Last little bit. Landing gear says the maximum cruise for the CRJ 700 is 41,000. It is indeed. So you can see, you know, we're pretty heavy today for the CRJ. Reasonable amount of fuel and passengers. Right, there's a level off. I said we're going to cruise at... Oh no, don't do that. That's confusing. Let's go to 79. 79 it is. So this is fast. The Airbus, we rarely cruise at .8 or above. But in this, we could quite comfortably, I'd say, cruise at 8.2. So this is a bit quicker than the Airbus. There's no doubt about it. I hate to say it, but there we go. Joe Yip says, may I ask how you become an Airbus pilot? Wondering if you went to flight school and trained for Airbus A320 before you start your career, or did you get employed first and your company send you to train? No, I went to flight school. Basically, you go to flight school and then you train onto the airplane later. Yeah, it comes afterwards. So I flew different aircraft before I flew the Airbus. House and Roadhouse. Yeah, Alex Bitcoin. Yeah, indeed. Except that one time it was Lupus, says MOS. There you go. A lot of people remember it. Mickey says, I'm a huge fan of the House MD as well. So glad you got the reference. Yeah, no, it's great. I do miss it. Nice West says, time to shift the ND to VNAV view. You get top of descent references. There we go. You guys are all on it. So, to do that, MFD, not data, menu. No, data. No, it was data. See, this is what I mean. The way it cycles through, it's something that you just have to get so used to. Let's go to normal page progress. No, so data's wrong. It's MFD menu. I thought so. Right, and VNAV, and there it is. We'll get our top of descent when I enter a few other things, because I hadn't done that last time and we had the same result. See some traffic above us, I think. Oh, I'm a bit impressed if they're above us. It's a CRJ. Oh dear, what flight number have I filed on VATSIM? Have I got that wrong? It's possible. Oh, there's the traffic beneath us. The problem with my VATSIM filing is I end up filing it sort of whilst I'm setting up the stream, and it's gone wrong a few times lately. Oh yeah, I put 264. It should be to 265. Oh well, that is my mistake. We'll see what happens if we get closer. Thanks for finding that, Thor. That is a good point. Brianni says, I really love the family vibe you create with this channel in Discord. No, but it's not me that's done that. It's everyone else. It's you guys. So thank you all for being so so nice in the chat. It always, yeah, it's always a joy to come and stream and chat with you guys. Eboss says, so what does the stick pusher do different? Right, so let's talk about the stick pusher. So you saw that it pushes the stick forward. So the stick shaker will rattle it. If you continue to increase the angle of attack, eventually this will yank itself forward. It will actually yank itself out of your hands, certainly if you're on the dash. And there's a reason for that. It's these T-tail aircraft tend to have it, and the dash is the same. So why do they have that? Well, what happens is, if we go to side on, you'll get a clearer view. Let me just check my speed isn't running away. just take it out of the thrust descent a little bit. See if that stays there. As long as I don't touch it, it should be alright. So, if you picture this airplane at a high angle of attack, then the airflow, so at the moment the airflow is straight on the nose, running over the wings, running over the tail, and it's all fine. Everyone's very happy. That's all very good. But if the airflow, or if we were at a slow speed, the nose will be higher. You can see it's already slightly nose up. So what will happen is the airflow, for example, would be relative to the airplane coming from beneath, as you can imagine, like that, moving along that. If you enter a really high angle of attack and you get into enough of a stall, remember what a stall is. A stall is the aircraft losing lift from the wing because the laminar airflow, the airflow that's running smoothly over the wings right now, it actually starts to unstick and you get turbulent air. So what will happen is you'll get a bit of smooth air and then it will break away, and this is just turbulent buffeting air. So if we're at a high angle of attack and we stall enough, first of all we get a bit of a stall and then we stall fully, you can go into a deep stall in a T-tail aeroplane. It's really nasty. What happens is this back part, this turbulent flow coming off the wing, is all swirly, it's not useful, and that flow comes up and meets the tailplane. So you now don't have smooth airflow over your tailplane because you're getting this rough air coming from the wing. The problem with that is that's where our elevators are, so you lose your elevator control because there's not enough airflow smoothly going over them. So you get yourself into a stall where the wings are, you're so stalled, the wings are blocking out the elevator. And what does that mean? It means you can't push the nose down. How do we recover from the stall in an airliner? We push the nose down. Now in small aircraft you'll also add power, but in large airliners the main thing to do to unstall the wing is to push the nose down. So the point being, it's incredibly important that we don't get ourselves into that situation. So to stop that and help with the situation, it will shake at you to warn you, and then it will even take things into its own hands and shove the nose forward. Now that is overrideable. I think in this airplane you can press the autopilot disconnect button, from what I was reading in the Aerosoft manual they sent through. But the point is, it's really important we don't get ourselves into that situation, and that's one of those unique things about this T-tail design, and that's another reason the CRJ is an interesting machine to fly on the channel. I quite like having it in the hangar, definitely. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, and you'll see that stick pusher on T-tails. I know the 737 does also have it, but you know, it's one of those things that just it can be considered unique, or especially required, shall we say, for a T-tail design. '88 Fresh, I'm using Fly Live Studio for the details. Ethan's Aviation says, I think the MD-80 has crashed due to that. Yeah, a deep stall is very possible. Yeah. Peer UK says, not sure if you know or not, but they made a takeoff hot shot on the screw next to the autopilot button, so you have to find the real takeoff. Yep, we did that. We used that little screw up there. Yeah, it works really nicely. Again, nice touch by Aerosoft. Ethan's Aviation says, what do you prefer in looks, CRJ or ERJ? Oh, I don't want to be controversial, but I'm going to say it, CRJ. The CRJ is one of the best looking airliners out there, I think. Now, I like loads of airliners, that's my problem. Everyone asks me, what do you like? And I'll just reel off a list. I like the 380, 75, 320s I do like the 320. I do like the 340, 600, and even the 300 is growing on me. But either way, I think the CRJ is one of those airplanes that, you know, you can't deny it looks nice. Nobody can say, yeah, that's a bad looking airplane. It just looks right. The 700 in particular. The 200 is quite stocky. The 700 is really sleek looking thing. The 1000 perhaps pushing it too far in terms of stretch. Evos says MCAS. So MCAS isn't in this airplane. MCAS is a Boeing thing. The MCAS system was designed, it wasn't for the same system. The MCAS was to do with the airplane getting the nose up too high because of the engines being too low and all of this sort of thing. Yeah. I have indeed lived abroad, Brianni. Yeah, I have lived abroad. You end up moving around for your job in aviation, most certainly. Masterflex, no general aviation in my free time, but I'm hoping to change that this year. Get involved a bit in general aviation. So you might see it featuring a little bit on the channel just for my own practice as well. Plessy says, do T-tailers make sense nowadays? They were always rare. Planes like the E190 seem much more popular amongst airlines. You know, I don't know why T-tails went out of favour. They did, obviously, but I don't understand why. I mean, this is a modern airplane, so it was designed as a T-tail, and it has some advantages. For example, you don't need air stairs for this airplane because it's so low. How is it so low? Well, the engines are up and out the way on the T-tail. And we talked about, well, that alone, that's a great reason to have a design like this. Downsides being, as we talked about, the you get that T-tail design as a result, so you end up with the potential for stalled wings. Very few airplanes have engines at the back and a stabulator there as well, but they are out there. Why it's not used on bigger aircraft is a good question. I mean, we had the VC-10, so it was for a while. It was the only way to do it, really. Until we had sort of the 707, 737 come along with the underwing engines. Yeah, I don't. You know, someone will know, or someone will pretend to know as well. It does look like a private jet, and of course, this is what the Challenger jet is based off of. Fly Live Studio, yeah, 88 Fresh, yeah. Malmo controls online, excellent news. Won't take us too long to get there. We are rocketing along. Thor says, how much lighter are the wings due to not having to carry engines? Good question. I don't know, however much an engine weighs. The engines don't weigh as much as you'd think they would. They're incredibly light. They're designed to be, and there's lots of hollow parts in the turbines and things like that. So yeah, they're not as heavy as you might imagine. Jetpack away, thank you very much for your £5 donation. Really appreciate it. Jetpack says, ever consider UK vaccine controller certification and doing controlling? I've not thought about it, to be honest with you, at the moment. It could be something for the future. I do think about it, and I used to play those games, those controlling games you get, you know, the apps on iPad and things, and that was good fun. But whether or not I would go through the training for VATSIM, I don't know. Let me just send to the heading bug, press that, and it's now in front of us. A system that I am very glad we don't see on the Airbus. But thank you very much for your £5 donation, Jetpack away. And yeah, it's definitely a possibility. Just like I say, a few things I'm hoping to get sorted before I start thinking about that sort of thing. We've got so many aeroplanes on the channel now as well that I struggle to get through the streams and videos. Like I'm really enjoying it, but yeah, it's been great to have. You know, we've got the CRJ, the Beluga, the 321, the 320 NEO, the 321 NEO. We've got the 757, 737 200s. It's great. I really like having the chance. We have the A300 as well, but I think I'm going to be flying the Beluga more than the A300, I must confess. I really like the Beluga. It's really charmed me. Yeah, my time in my sim is wrong, guys. Sorry, I should have said we're at 12:22. I didn't want to do another night landing, to be honest. I don't use IVAO, no. Brianni says, if you could design a plane, which part would make your perfect plane? Good question. Let's see. What could we steal from the CRJ? I like the nose of the CRJ. That's hard not to like. I would definitely steal the winglets off the 350. I think they're the nicest looking winglets. That sort of curved swirl up. I think that. So there we go. So we've got the winglets. Goodness me, that is hard. I'd probably go with sort of the 747 flaps. I like the 747's triple slotted flaps. It's not as efficient as the modern designs, but it's quite cool. It's a hard question though. Whether I'd go with the T-tail or not, I don't know. Probably not. But this is, yeah, the CRJ, there's just something about it. It just looks right. If it looks right, it flies right, of course, the old aviation saying, and I think this one definitely qualifies for that. Dougal says, engines look heavy as they are so big due to the size of bypass. Yeah, indeed. A lot of that's, there's a lot of space in that engine. All that bypass coming out the edge there, and then you've got the core there. I hope they update the Jet Blast in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It looks okay from there, but from any angle, it just sort of, the way it just wobbles around, it doesn't look like it's very, X-Plane does a sort of a core stream, which is more what you expect. So I hope they get something like that sorted. Ace Combat or DCS both have similarly good systems. Ethan's Aviation says the GE90 is heavier than an African elephant. There you go. But that is a massive, massive engine. Nice West says, with the latest A350 version, the wings aren't as curved as they were on the first versions, a lot straighter. Yeah, I saw that they changed that to adjust the lift and the wings, yeah. Lucy says, same with the 340-600, it just looks right. I can't wait for the Toliss. Oh yeah, the 340-600 I'm really excited about. Big fan of that. Oh. How's this happened? Why am I on this page? Very risky. Very risky. Don't want that to happen by accident. Trent 700 down. There we go, yeah. Tristan says, is that the engine off the 330? The A330 is the noisiest airplane out there at the moment. It is deafening. You always know it's a 330 going. Is that the Trent 700? Ethan's Aviation says, I think another reason for the design like this is because you can't add high bypass engines on a T-tail. Ah, yeah, that could make sense. They'd just be sticking out here, wouldn't they? They would look a bit silly, getting in the way of the airflow over the tail, perhaps. Yeah, interesting. Look at that wind, that crosswind. Oh, that reminds me. God, see, I turned this into a sort of a podcast or radio show at this point, but I forget to do the rest of it. We need to put in our wind for the flights. Average wind component, -1 overall actually. It's mostly a crosswind, so I'm going to leave it alone. Not going to make any difference. But there we go, we could have done that if we wanted to. Hello Van der Veen, good to see you. Hello Van der Veen says, sometimes they mention QNH and QFE in the 80s. What's QFE? Right, good question. So QNH, like it was out of Belfast. QNH is the pressure setting you're going to set to show your altitude above sea level. So if I set the QNH and I'm at 1,000 feet, I'm at 1,000 feet above sea level. If the airport is at 200 feet, like Malmo, then we would be 800 feet above the ground, above the airport. QFE is what you would set to get 0 on the ground. So if I was on QFE in exactly the same place, instead of it showing 1,000 feet, it would show me 800 feet. Because I'm 800 feet above the airport. So QFE is fine if you are flying precisely over the runway. Aside from that, it's useless because it does give you a reading to the ground, but obviously the ground changes all over the place. So as soon as you're over a hill, it doesn't make any difference. And the downside is, of course, it changes depending on the elevation of the airport. So no one uses QFE in that often in airliner flying, certainly not in the West anyway. But I know it is used in some places, and I'm not saying it's not acceptable or anything like that, but it's rarely seen where I fly anyway. I wouldn't even use it in general aviation, to be honest. Checkpoint says you're getting plenty of podcast time on the long haul stream. Yeah, exactly. I still remember the last one. It was the 1st of January we did that long haul stream, which was obviously all of January, all of February, and soon all of March. So 3 months, yeah. And it was quite tiring. It was great. I absolutely loved it. But it was one of those things that I remember it well. Having a 20-minute break for lunch and things like that. Bath McNab, good to see you again. Bath McNab says hiya, and for that last question, they can think of QNH question nil height and QFE question field elevation. There you go, nil height, field elevation. Some smaller airports will use it, and I think the military may use it as well. Ralph says just landed at Malmo, great flight. Yeah, we're using ORBX's Malmo as well today, so we're going to have some nice scenery for the arrival, which is always something I enjoy having. Let's fiddle around then. Let's look down here. So we looked at the stall system a little bit more today. I've got VNAV, I've got comp. I'm not sure what comp is telling us. One of the many things that I haven't read from the Aerosoft manual is all of these features. You can see I can control left or right. So if I go to right, I can change the FO's navigation display. And just, again, this is just another example of every button and feature working. I'm really impressed. So that could be annoying if you did that for the other pilot. They wouldn't be too impressed. Let's have high nav aids as well. ETA. I like having ETA for the waypoints. Let's wind up the range. There we go. So 8 minutes until, where's that? Cuttle. Out over the water. I'd like to see radar terrain showing up. I'd like to see that feature added. Hopefully it does get there in the future. As I said, Hans has already said that the thing where your mouse hovering over here as you move the mouse off the screen is going to be sorted soon, which I'm looking forward to. It's, like I said, it could just be bad luck with the placement, because my screen, my second screen, is basically off to the left over here. So you can see my mouse goes off like that. So I think if you go off like that, and then I click on the other window, there's a risk of it engaging something on there. What else have we got over here? Wipers, yeah, pretty self-explanatory. We've got the switching, so we can change our screens. There we go. I can have flight PFD, that does actually say PFD behind there, or we can change it to the ICAS if this screen breaks. Airbus is very good, it's automatic. I think this has got some automation to that as well. Yeah, all very good. Lab test. Oh yeah, there we go, lab test, system 1 and 2. Good, it does turn off, so I'm worried there. Like I say, you could spend all day, if you really wanted to learn an airplane, you could sit here and learn all of this stuff. It would all be there, all work for you, the lights and everything. Let's bring down our HUDs. Bang! Oh no, don't do that, stay out. There we go. Daniel said, where did you order your TC8 officer pack and how long did it take to arrive? I ordered it from box.co.uk. They had them in stock briefly and it took, I don't know, a couple of days to arrive. Yeah. Mark says, I have taken to turning off the EFB during cruise in case. Ooh, I like that idea. Yeah, it's done it again. Look, we've gone back to options. Why has that happened? Not happy about that. Power off. Great idea. Why didn't I think of that? The problem is tapping it does turn it on, but at least that gives us 2 stages of warning. Lucy says T-tails are a little harder to maintain apparently, as the controls running up to the elevators are more complex. That's interesting. I don't know why. Why would the controls be more complex to the elevator? But yeah, it's all possible. Checkback likes the HUD. Yeah, the HUD, it is cool. I just wish, I don't really know what I'm looking at. I can see the heading bug over there, and presumably that little arrow is my track. This is in the manuals, by the way, guys, if you wanted to look it up. There you go, I can sense that heading bug. Got the wind vector up there. It's got the detail, they put effort in, there's no doubt about it. Cheekpoint says, would you do the long haul stream on a Sunday as well? Would love to hang out the whole day again. Yeah, I think that's quite likely. That's quite likely. It would be the same sort of time frame as last time on a Sunday. No guarantees though yet. If we haven't even, we know there's no guarantees of reaching that 40,000. Tristan, yes, I did see the fly-by-wire update and the new screenshots. Yeah, I want to talk about those actually at some point. Yeah, really looking good. Mo S says, the one thing the CRJ assures us of is that Microsoft Flight Simulator is in fact capable of handling complex aircraft. Can't wait to see what devs will offer in future. Will only get better. Well, hopefully. Oh yeah, yeah. I heard today from Giuseppe actually said that apparently the PNVG are making more progress than expected. So their aircraft are hopefully coming out this year, which would be great news. Kurt says, wish the HUD was more collimated. Yeah, so that is the effect where as it moves and your head moves, instead of it just appearing like this as a screen, what would happen is it would always appear on the same place. It's a very clever system that HUDs have, but it's a bit more of a 2D style panel. I get that, I understand that, but I think it's pretty good they included it, to be honest. Especially as, I suppose in VR, that's where you'd want it to work properly. I don't know, I haven't tried this airplane in VR, I must confess. Yeah, that's a good point. Christian says, have you also experienced the high pitch and stall on approach, for example 200 knots with flaps up? Not yet. We'll see what happens today. Brianni says, any chance of implementing the wiki facts you give during the exploration streams in these live streams. It's the wiki fact. So in the, you mean in the exploration streams in the group flights, I have lots of Wikipedia facts. I can tell you though, the problem with that is it takes me ages to set up a group flight because I have to go around, find all the facts, try and memorize them, write them out. Before you can even do that, you've got to figure out your route and every obstacle you want to see. Kurt says this gets the job done if you're not in VR. Yeah, I agree with that. I have got some Wikipedia facts. So the Flybe, as I said, Flybe launched in 1979 as Jersey European, which is what you see here. It became Flybe in the early 2000s. 2002, I think it was. What else have we got? I haven't got much. Malmo Airport, where you're going, previously known as Sturup Airport. It was 1972 it was completed. And an interesting fact about Malmo Airport is that it is equal distance for the people who live in Malmo City to travel by car to Copenhagen International Airport. So that can't be good news for Malmo Airport because I think it means a lot of international travellers will just go to Copenhagen instead, where there's more flights. So it perhaps suffers. It's going to be fun to see. I haven't. Ooh, I hope it's installed. I really hope it's installed. I think it is. Malmo has bright yellow terminal buildings. So I remember it. I have flown there in real life, and I remember it very much for its yellow buildings. Cooper says, when holding in the 320, is green dot speed the best speed for endurance? Yes, green dot is the speed you want to be at in the hold if you can. In the 321 though, you might find it's a little bit slow just because your low speed protections start to rise. Lauren V says, we'd love to see the state of the sim a year after release. Yeah, I think this summer this sim will be very mature. Well, not very mature, but it'll be much closer to what to having what a lot of people expected from it, put it that way. Siberian Reality says ESMS gets a lot of business from low-cost airlines like Wizz Air. There you go. Yeah, I can believe that. Paddy says, my favourite Jersey European Wikipedia fact is that it started out with 2 surplus DC-3s. Wow, you've beaten me there. That is a great fact. Oh yeah, look at that. They had in 1980 a Vickers Viscount as well. Yeah, 2 DC-3s. I've never seen them. I don't know what livery they had. The Vickers Viscount livery looks pretty cool though. Oh wow, Paddy, have you seen the? If you go to Wikipedia and look up the Jersey European Vickers Viscount livery, that surely is asking to appear in Microsoft Flight Simulator somewhere. Nabil says, can Just Flight PA28 be used to learn flying to some extent in Microsoft Flight Simulator? Let me just sort out my thrust levers. They've just gone into the detail. There we go. Yeah, it's going to help you remember some things, definitely. It's a great add-on, that Just Flight Arrow. I really like it. Oh, Viscount or Viscount? Oh no, Baffin Nav, you've got me there. It's definitely the Viscount, isn't it? Or am I saying it wrong? I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. In a second, you'll have me on the Wikipedia pronunciation page. Paddy, you don't have to. But yeah, that was I hadn't seen that livery before. Very cool. We are going to Malmo in Sweden, indeed. There we go. It does flash at us. Just for a second it flashes to warn us we're going to a new point. You can see as well a little track donut there, as it would be called in the Airbus. Next stop, Surat. So, somebody please explain to me what I'm missing to get my VNAV up. This happened last time and I've totally forgotten what I did. Really easy to fix and it was really obvious. Is it in perf? Advisory VNAV enable. We've got it enabled. There you go. VNAV setup. That's all fine. But you had to put something in to make it appear, I'm sure. Malmo's busy. 8 departures. There you go, Dan. Yeah, very good. Lives in Sweden. Happy noises. Excellent. Did I enter the cruise level? Yeah, we did. Yep. It should know we're in the cruise. You see that it does this. Oh, let's see actually. It should show us the vertical speed required. Oh, I remember. It's the arrival. We didn't put in the arrival. I keep cheating on departure. Unless you put in the arrival, it can't know what you want to do. So, yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. Paddy will probably have it done before we land in Malmo. Yeah, that is true. Paddy is incredibly quick at liveries usually, but no pressure, Paddy. You don't have to. You don't have to make any livery. But it does have cheat lines down the window. That's all we need to know, really, isn't it? Cat is still very upset again. So it looks like RS35 northerly arrival, and we're arriving via Detus. RS35 vectors Detus. Execute. Now, if you go to direct NTC, it should come up with a. Well, I was optimistic. But maybe I've got that wrong. Oh, okay. I'm just going to have to mute the alert box. Thank you for your subscriptions to Richard, to Matthias, to Janek. Really appreciate it. Malmo is very near to Copenhagen in Sweden. Let me show you. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh, that's funny. It doesn't show you the line. So the 321X system does. So that makes me wonder. I wish I knew the answer to this. Does anyone know? Is this CRJ using its own lateral navigation then, like the working title? Because in the 321X, which I believe is going to change its lateral navigation system, but in the 321X, you can see your line still on the PFR map. Is that a sign that it's using the default system? That would explain a lot. So yeah. Anyway, let me show you where we're going. So we're going Copenhagen, I believe, is somewhere here, and we are going somewhere just over here, just over the road. Malmo is right in front of Copenhagen, other side. Yeah, there we go. Ah, see, look, it clicks to descend as we came back on the screen. Yeah. Oh, I like the power off idea. That is genius. Definitely need to do that. Simple solution. Okay, I think the alert box can reawaken. Thank you for your subscriptions, though, to those of you. Yeah, they mentioned custom autopilot on the forum. Yeah, I believe it is on the way. A custom autopilot we're using, but I'm talking more about their custom lateral navigation. Remember, guys, when the fly-by-wire mod, I believe if you go and download the custom autopilot version when it adds itself to the installer, you will not get the new LNAV. It's not. I don't think it's out yet. I could be behind on that, though. I need to get on top of it. Viscount. Yeah, thanks, David. Yeah. Siberian Reality loves the weird yellow building. It's so unique. Yeah, it's quite good fun. Thor says, I don't think it uses the working title approach, but it doesn't synchronize the flight plan with the built-in one in Microsoft Flight Simulator. There we go. Yeah. B5 Kitty says, if you're looking for your top of descent info, it only appears about 25 miles before the top of descent from yesterday. Ah, okay. So yesterday we didn't have any arrival. Well, let's go to plan. Let's see if I can get there. There we go. That looks like a plan page. Doesn't have it written anywhere, but we should find out. Go to the legs. And we got a little scroll. Scroll, 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 scroll. Zoom right in. I think that looks pretty good. It looks like it's all connected even. Ah, there's a slight gap there. That may be upsetting it. MS610 to IF35. Let's get rid of that. Discontinuities never go down well. So it should be vectors. I need to figure out a way to... Oh, how do I do that? Oh yeah, delete discontinuity. Oh, that's not good. I don't want to touch anything. Thank you very much, Andy Robinson, for your $20 donation. Really appreciate it, Andy. Andy says, loving the CRJ content. I picked it up day one, and I'm learning a lot from your streams. Thanks. You're very welcome, Andy. Thank you so much for your donation. Really appreciate it. And thanks so much for coming along to the stream. I hope you're doing very well. And thank you. That's a really generous donation. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Really kind. I'm glad you're liking the CRJ. Thank you, Andy. Really kind of you, Andy. Thank you. I think we may have pushed it too far. I'm just going to leave it here for a minute and see. I don't want to click anything. You need to be in legs, not flight plan. There we go. Legs. That'll explain it. Come on, computer. You can do it. CRJ 200 is Cat 2, I believe. Yeah, these airplanes, I don't think they can auto land. No, no. Well, let's start thinking of a backup plan here, guys. Where shall we start from in case this simulator doesn't wake up? Which I'm slightly convinced now it will not. Where shall we start from? Where shall we start from? I'll keep giving it a minute. Sometimes it does recover. Sometimes it does recover. But yeah, I haven't seen it do it quite like this before. If it does, this is the... Oh, there's this not a good sound. That is the first time... That is the first time I've seen this happen. So let me just remove that for you guys. Let me see what I can do here, guys. Let's see if there's any way to fix this. No, I think it's done. Oh, I can't believe it. That is the first time it's done this on the stream. Yeah, yeah. I think we're going to go down to the ground in Amsterdam. We'll set up on the runway. 2 takeoffs for the price of 1, because that's definitely had it. I can't think of a way through this. Nope. And we've had the ding dong. Johnny says it froze for 5 minutes. Yeah, I am tempted to leave it running because Flight Simulator does have a habit of freezing. Very rarely. Let me bring it up for you guys. You can jump with joy. So we're about halfway through the flight. Doesn't seem to be sending a signal to my streaming software. There's no state saving. No, no. MoS, yeah, we've had a bit of a freeze up here. It is unfortunate. First time for everything? Yeah, it is indeed. It's like I say, I've had more crashes on X-Plane than I have on Microsoft Flight Simulator while streaming, I must admit. Yeah, it's not coming through to you guys either, is it? That is very odd. So at some point we're going to have to cut our losses and just spawn in to... I think... Welcome to Amsterdam, says Checkpoint. I'm there as well, but for different reasons, popping down some taxiway signs here. I can't wait for the full Amsterdam. What I might do is I might go to Billund. Is Billund too close to Malmo? It is pretty close, isn't it, actually? Amsterdam would be quite a good choice. Alright. Okay. Okay, Control Delete without going further. Sometimes it will refreeze. Let me see. I'm trying a few things here, guys. Dan says you can respawn in the air, just slew up. Now there is an idea. That's why you need to keep your plane clean, says Paddy. Or Dusseldorf. Yeah, let's go. Is Dusseldorf going to be better? Dusseldorf could be a good choice, actually. Oh, it won't matter. I know what we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to get in the air and then slew up and out of the way. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it had to happen eventually. So let me close that view. That's not working at all. Time to abandon that. So goodbye, Microsoft Flight Simulator. We shall see you again soon. That's now gone. Lots and lots of ding dongs and warnings you guys will hear. Let me just give it a second to think about life. Copenhagen's too close is the only thing. Paro, yeah. We're just approaching Denmark, says Tyani. Yeah, we'll slew up and get ourselves over there. Right, loading in. Won't take long, guys, don't worry. Remember, guys, my computer is running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different programs, all connected to the internet, plus the flight simulator. So it doesn't surprise me this will happen every now and then. So yeah, Boeing boy. I really can't blame the CRJ. I've done lots of things with it and had no problems like this. So I'm a little bit surprised. The CRJ is not compatible with spawning mid-air. I had a fright starting it while controlling a glide, but I got it running 400 feet to spare. Okay. All right. Maybe Oslo. We'll start from the same side. Let me keep... I think Amsterdam is definitely a good one. It's definitely a good one. I mean, we started from all the way over in Belfast, actually. So Amsterdam is a good sort of halfway point. I was thinking we were starting from sort of London area, but of course we started over in Belfast. So let's do Amsterdam. Now here's the question. Can I get Simbrief to wake up in time and give us a new one? Let me edit that flight. We'll start from. And we'll reconnect to VATSIM. Maybe we'll have to skip VATSIM. There we go. That's on the way. Flight Sim's already loading up. You can probably start to hear the music. Rich Tango says maybe take off from Oslo. Yeah, we could do Oslo. And head south. We'll do Amsterdam. Mo says, time for a second setup to handle the streaming encoding and running the sim like FS 2020 is a bit much. It is and it isn't. I don't tend to find trouble with the actual, doing that has not been an issue for the... I don't notice any frame rate drop by doing it like this, put it that way. People suggesting Hamburg. Oh, see, now everyone's getting ideas. Everyone wants me to start from where they are. I could do Hamburg. Hamburg seems really close. It's about a 5-minute hop. I want to have a bit of time. Let me see. What does Simbrief say? If we start over in... It's only a 1-hour flight. Climbing up to 390 from Amsterdam. Hamburg would be really short, I think. What's the time now? 6 o'clock. Yeah. Here's what we're going to do, guys. Let me load it in. We're going to go from Amsterdam. We'll do it offline, but we'll just use live weather. Let me just grab the weather for Amsterdam and pick a runway that we like. Aero weather. And you guys know I can do a record startup of the CRJ incorrectly. Yeah, northerly winds in Amsterdam as well. So that's going to put us on to, let's go from 06. I don't think they ever use 06 to be honest with you, but that's going to be perfect for us. And Simbrief wants us to go... Where's it gone? From 36 center. Oh, we could do 36 center actually. Yeah, that probably makes the most sense. Let's do 36 center. Perfect. So we got the CRJ 700. Got Amsterdam. Runway 36 center. Got off, live. Okay, let's go to fly. Audio visual Returning very soon, guys. Thank you for those of you staying with us. Max says, use Travel 2 to get back to the mid-flight phase. I don't know, Max. I've tried that in any airplane and I haven't managed to get it to work. Simon says, Amsterdam, it'll take you half an hour to navigate your way around the taxi system. I know. But we're not. No, we're going to be on the runway. Don't you worry, guys. Jack Packaway says, I want my tea after this, so I'm not going in a holding pattern until you catch up. No, that's fine. You guys carry on. That music, Victor Tango, is the FSX music. So I hope you're complimenting it only. Ethan's Aviation says, sounds like Universal Theme Park. No, this is the FSX menu music. This is classic. This is a defining part of the history of Flight Simulator, no doubt. Yeah, I won't spawn the CRJ mid-air. No. We're going to take off and just cruise along. Taylani says, I'm going to hold it. AMRAM until you catch up. Fantastic. Yeah, I've got the flight plan ready, guys. Very easy. We'll be underway in no time. Ethan, yeah, the sim crashed. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Thank you for those of you sticking with it, though. I really appreciate the patience. We're almost there. Last little bit of CRJ loading in. Dave says the banjo music is great. Yeah, we could give you a bit of banjo music, but oh no, loading in now. Let me set the weather. Okay, guys, here we go. No dead air. You should see a screen any second now. Here we are then. Admittedly a down-powered airplane. I'm going to go to aircraft states, ready for taxi. Now, it won't work perfectly. I don't know what it does with the engine. It's all very strange. It does this. If I leave it for a second, I wonder if it will actually turn on the engines for us. I'd be very impressed if it does. Brianni, thank you very much for your €2 donation. Really appreciate it. Brianni says, what's for dinner? Amsterdam, great to hand in your exam. Yeah, I do need to do that. There we go. Yeah, it does. That's interesting. The ITT is spooling up. So I'm just going to leave it alone for a second and see where we get to. 4.5 tons of fuel will be more than enough for us to get underway from here. But thank you, Brianni, for your donation. Really appreciate it. There you go. We've got one engine online. See, last time we did this, the panel states we didn't think they were working that well. But actually, it's pretty, if you just leave it alone, look at that. The engine's starting all on its own. And now I don't have to faff around with the engine starts or anything like that. Whilst it does that, let's go to performance. Let's do a flap 8 takeoff this time. Set all of those. And the weights all look good. Set it in simulator. Copy to FMS. And init fuel from aircraft. Try not to do too many things at once. Right, let's get some of these systems online. So we're in nav. Stab trim. Now, I don't know why we're getting those engine messages. There we go. We've got rid of those. Perfect. Reversers are armed. Stab trim. Mac trim. Yaw damper. All those messages are gone. Perfect. I'm just going to go. Well, let's recenter the heading bug. Let's climb straight up. Straight up. We're not on air traffic control here. Straight up to 390 where we were. We're going to do this nice and quickly. Don't you worry, guys. Don't you worry. Okay, overhead panel then. What do we need? That's all on. Yeah. Strobes, landing lights, because we're not just taxiing, we're actually on the runway. Those lights can be on. Perfect. Great stuff, guys. Let's get our flaps out to flaps 8 for the takeoff. And let's load in a little bit into the FMGC, or FMS I should call it. So, pause on it. FMS position, set position. We are in EHAM, flight plan, EHAM, ESMS. Don't worry, guys, we'd have only been set in the cruise anyway. Echo, Kilo Alpha Hotel as the alternate. We're going to depart from 36. Ooh, no, there's a good one. Does center work? Oh, no, not there. There we go. Yes, it does. Fantastic. Execute. And we are the BEE. Now, I got it wrong earlier, but we're not on VATS anymore, so we'll just log in properly this time as the Jersey 265. Perfect. Perfect. Let us set payload. Copy to FMS. There it is. Cruising at F390. Done. execute, alternate cruise, F200. VNAV, not too worried, we're going straight up to flight level. We'll sort out the arrival in a moment. And through the next pages, all looking great. Anything else we want to do? Yeah, we need to put in an actual flight plan, don't we? So we're going to go from runway 36 enter. Our departure is going to be... sorry guys if I miss anything in the chat, just want to make sure I get this done properly now. So the Nopsu 2 Whiskey, let's go. Departure arrival, 36 enter, Nopsu 2 Whiskey, execute. There we go, we got that. We can, as we know, we'll do what we did last time. We'll just do the rest of that once we're underway. So there is a departure for us. So this time, flap 8, takeoff, get above V2 plus... Is it V2 plus 20? No, it's a bit less, V2 plus 12, I think it is. And then we can go to our next stage of flap up. Right, engine's running, flaps are at 8. Let's set up our trim. So flap 8, dry runway, settle, rotating at 128, trim for takeoff, 7.2. I'm going to leave it a little bit nose down. So reversers are on, parking brake is on, no smoking signs and seatbelts are on. Let's box those messages. There we go, we managed it this time. Right, so there's our speeds. Straight ahead, we've got our nav line working. We'll have the window on. I think we're ready to go. Guys, tell me in the chat anything I need to do here. Note your VATSIM call sign is BAA264 if you go online later. Yeah, I will change that. Thanks, Thor. 36 Center is an excellent choice. It's currently in use, says Checkpoint. Perfect. There you go. See, we do things properly here on this channel, as you guys know. Right. So I'm going to just jump up into flight now. We won't get ourselves in trouble. SKW says, we're going nowhere, Captain. We're sharing together what we all experience at times. Not always a smooth run in the great hobby. No, exactly. These things do happen. But look at that. The panel states worked perfectly there. You just had to give it a bit of time, which I'm impressed with. So that is good to see. Right, we'll sort out the lights and so on as we go. Let's just check obvious things. So let's have a look at our flight controls. We've got flight controls. Good stuff. Let us... we've got flaps, gear, speed brakes, reversers, checklist time. So that was the taxi one. So flaps are set, flight controls check, trims set, clutch reversers arm, flight instruments check, brake temperature check. Before takeoff, lights are on, fuel crossload to manual. Flight attendant advised, transponder TCAS are on and set. I say yes. We got it right this time. Radar terrain display set, cast checked, and the next one is climb. Right, so here we go then. Same thing this time. We've got our nose wheel steering if we need it as well, although the catch is on my lap, so this could be... I might have to use the old twisty stick for this takeoff. But yeah, we are going to get going. No worries at all. Simon says, you did want some practice in CRJ procedures. Don't think you'll forget the startup in a hurry. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, at least it was short haul. No, I completely agree. We got very lucky on that last long haul. Who wants to go to Malmo? I think we're done. Let's go. Brakes released. Spool up the engines. Oh yeah, press toga. There it is. 2 clicks forward. Off we go. Right. Yeah, using the twisty stick, so the rudder may not be the prettiest thing ever on this one. Anyway, stick to neutral. This is just default Amsterdam scenery. Checkpoint's working on an amazing project on the freeway. There's our rotate. Up we go. Positive climb, gear up. Pitching up towards that 20 degrees. Let's go for speed and nav. Through 600 feet. We can put in the autopilot. It's amazing pitch up on this airplane. What a climb rate it gets to. It seems really high. Well, that's definitely too high. Don't want to be up at 25 degrees. Right, we're banking around already with our departure. Autopilot engage. Let's check our modes. We're definitely above our V2 speed, plus I think it was 12, so let's go to flaps 1, and when we're above VT, so we can go to flaps 0. FMS climb out S, that's all looking good, so let's increase the speed to 250 knots. I'll get up in the cruise and then I'll see if I can tune into VATSIM in time. Right, gear is up. Flaps are at 0 and away. Let's do the climb checklist. So, fuel cross flow to auto. Bleeds and APU set. Thrust reversers off. Cast checked. Thrust reversers come off. Okay, guys, we're back where we were. James Cooper, thank you very much for your £3 donation. And there's the pair. The pair's made its appearance. It's been a while since we've seen the pair, actually. Thank you, James, for your £3 donation. Really appreciate it. Oh, fantastic. So, there you go. It does work. You can just get this thing underway. The magic of it is, unlike the Airbus, you don't have so many background systems to concern yourself with. And like I say, this iPad is really nice. You can just chuck in all that performance and just press go, and it just does it, which I really like. Really like. All right, let's get this thing set up as we had it. Integral lights on. Oh yeah, thrust to climb. And that is about it. Hydraulic pumps are on. Good stuff. There you go, guys. Ethan says at least it was short haul. Indeed, yeah, indeed. Brianne says, in honour of your perseverance, I'm celebrating with your favourite pineapple pizza. Oh, don't say that. I am getting really hungry now. Aidan said, God forbid you forget the flaps when slowing down to approach speed. It pulls the angle of attack that would make an F-16 scared. Yeah, yeah. We're trying to remember that, yeah. Cruising 39,000. Time to set standards. Well, actually, let's just check. Yeah, there we go. We're on standards. Good stuff. Soon through 10,000 feet. Just fantastic performance in this machine. Let's go to showcase. Fixed camera. And it's number 10. You know, that's just what the Netherlands looks like. These straight fields as you fly over. It's really really quite. You know, you can look down and you can instantly tell you're at the Netherlands. There's no doubt about it. Oh, are we in nav? Last time we lost nav. 250. Yeah, it looks like we are. Through 10,000 feet. Oh no, they do have to not smoke, but they can walk around, and we'll get rid of the landing lights and the taxi lights. So let us continue with our route before we get too far along this one and run out of space. Flight plan. Right, this is actually a bit of a more complex route than we had last time. This finishes at Andic, then we're going to take the from Andic, we're taking the November 873. We're going to take that to Grony. So sorry guys, as ever the route in the route in Steambot is wrong, which is a very common problem on my channel. November 873, Grony Mike 105. Eel. Love Eel. Great name for a waypoint. Then November 125.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now serving sandwiches.
And there you go, they're serving sandwiches. I love that. See, that's great integration, the way that the PAs just play. And that's the right PA, considering we've done everything wrong. That's worked out really well. We're going to go straight over Hamburg. Yeah, Hamburg's pretty close. Thank you very much, SKW, for your €5 donation. Really appreciate it, SKW. SKW says, just a token of appreciation. Flight simming for 30 plus years and still learn something every stream. Thanks for the hard work on this channel. Thank you so much, SKW. Really appreciate it. Really kind of you. And I'm glad you like the channel. And I'm glad people are still learning things. I always feel like lately that I'm just sort of rambling. So glad to hear it's still useful for you guys. Maybe 23 Hamburg, but thank you very much for the donation. Really appreciate it. Ooh, I don't like the look of this stuff. Andic, November 873, Grony, Eel, Hamburg, Papa 605. To Cosmo. Lima 983. Almost there. To Detus. And that puts us back where we were before. Executes. From Detus. Arrival. Can you scroll? No, you can't scroll. You do have to go next page. RS35. Via vectors. Detus 1 Tango. Execute. Now, we have a discontinuity. It worked last time, so I'm going to try it again. If it crashes here, we'll load up in Hamburg. Execute. Right, there we go. We have a flight plan. So we can see our ETAs. Well, actually, I'm going to make sure we can see our ETAs. So we're going to have VNAV, basically ready for the descent, high nav A's and ETA. There you go. We'll start to get an idea of our descent. I'll put in the transition level for the descent later. VNAV setup, I think, is all fine. Good stuff. FD advisory. No, it's all coming together. Great. Great, 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 great. Thank you again, SKW. And thank you, James Cooper, for your £10 donation, James. Very kind. James says, can a dual FO or SFO in any combination fly an airliner, or do you need a captain? Are there rules around training? Thinking of the CRJ, can an SRO fly that in the private sector? Thank you very much for your £10 donation. Really appreciate it, James. So, good questions. No. No flights can have just an FO and an SFO. No. You always have to have a captain. We said this before, the first officer's role is to support the captain and keep everything safe. The captain is responsible for everything, basically. So they have to, let's accelerate actually. The captain has to, there's got to be someone legally responsible for all the paperwork. So yeah, it's not an option to have two first officers, because they're not trained to know what is and isn't acceptable in terms of paperwork and legality and so on. Their job is to safely fly the airliner and support the captain in doing so. So no, sadly not. I don't say sadly not. No, I don't think. No, you always need a captain, someone who is ultimately responsible. Are there rules around training? What sort of rules do you mean, James? And can an SRO fly that in a private sector? I'm not sure what an SRO is. Sorry, James, but thank you for your £10 donation. Really appreciate it. You supported the channel a lot, so yeah, really kind. Thank you. See, there we go. I just moved the mouse off the screen and it's done it again. Off. Yes, the sim did crash indeed, Ollie Nut. Yep. Mark V says you should have switched to standard at a while ago. Yeah, you can switch to standard as soon as you are cleared to a flight level. Indeed, you can. Remember, we just set this up in about 3 seconds there. Brianni says, trying to start a food war since you took off in a hurry when you saw me run up to collect your exam. Cheeky one you are. Tristan says, have you tried entering the SimBrief route instead of manually entering? Had a couple of bugs, but usually works well. Yeah, but if the airplane... I don't know if the airplane does download it through ACARS. When I flew a regional aircraft, it didn't download the route through ACARS. You entered it yourself, and I don't mind doing that myself in the sim. It doesn't take that long, to be honest with you. So I can't... I think that me loading up the sim and entering it is just as simple as downloading it, to be honest with you, and doing it the manual way, because I know you can load it in the SimBrief, but it just typically doesn't appeal to me. Malmo looks busy on BatSim. Okay. Aidan says, are you still furloughed? Yeah, I'm not flying at all, sadly. Mark B says, takeoff and landing lights off above 180. No, we turn them off above 100 in Europe typically, unless there's a special rule on the CRJ. There could be. How did you get back to your point? Sorry, that. Well, we got to the runway and we did the paddle state, and now we are rocketing away. Rocketing away. I wonder what. Let me help you guys out. Let's change the overlay for you. Let's just see where we sit. No, it's going to look like we're much further back, but it should update the arrival time for you guys. There you go, what's it saying? Yeah, see, look at that, not even 45 minutes, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. So that's the great thing of having the those panel states. And like I say, we tried to use the panel states last time, and then I ended up starting the engines manually. But it turns out if you press the panel state and just leave it, it does do it. It did it all, didn't it? It did the engines, the APU on and off, because the APU looked frozen. But no, it was just working. So just give it time. Really great. I'm really happy with that. That's one of the fastest restarts we've done in a while. I remember we did this in the 737-200 and we had to do a similar thing. I'll probably look down now and find the gears out or something. That's typical. Matthews Cock, thanks for coming along, Matthews. Obviously, I don't want to get the title wrong. I think there was also Hans who did a lot of the coding on the project, but another project developer at Aerosoft. Thanks for coming along. Entertaining flight as always, says Matthews. You're not flying helps us a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you, and yeah, I'm glad you enjoy the stream. So thanks for coming along again. We've been I've been trying to apply the things we learnt last time into this flight, and we picked up a few of them. I think our first takeoff anyway was quite successful. We had the flap retraction feeling a bit more normal, and we didn't forget the slats, so that's a good thing. Step by step. That's why I'm flying the airplane again. I want to make sure I'm just letting it sink in a bit. Oh yeah, I want to get my lights back on. Get these things underway. Good stuff. Good stuff. Right, so what we'll do, we've tuned our arrival. So we'll get up into the cruise, guys, and then we'll set up because it won't take us long before we're heading back down again. I think he says, Project Manager, I can't code hello world. That's right, yeah, Project Manager. I thought so. Excellent. Yeah, excellent. And there we go. This is, we talked about it last time, Matthews will remember, we've now got a grubby livery kindly done by Padday, so we've already got some grime built onto the outside. We took a look round before we set off. Oh, let's do this the proper way. Out of drone view, exterior view, there we go. Which, yeah, really gives it that lived-in look. The streaks down the window I really like. Typical of an aeroplane, like I say, sat on the ground for a long time, especially somewhere where there's obviously high pollution levels. It's amazing the things you see leak out of aeroplanes as well. Sinks and things like that, they can leak out and streak down the side from drain masts and all sorts. They're not supposed to, but sometimes these things happen. We are really storming along, climbing at 0.75, 1300 feet per minute at 330. No problem for this aeroplane. We are into a bit of a headwind now because of this change of route, but that'll be fine. He says, Hans Hartman is the coder. Blame him, not me, though. Yeah, there we go. It was Hans. And we were talking earlier, Hans is going to sort out, well, not sort out, but change the way the iPad interacts so that it won't be so accidentally clickable, I think, when you move your mouse off the screen. I think that's because Microsoft Flight Simulator, although it says full screen, it seems to run in a window because I can, like a full screen window mode, because I can easily move the mouse over to the other applications. Now that's great for me when I'm streaming. It just has the downside of when my mouse passes over the iPad being a risky strategy, which is why we have it off now, by the way, Matthews. This is somebody in the chat very, very cleverly suggested just turn it off, and then it gives you an extra layer. We're on to pizza discussion. This happens every stream, and I feel like we stream too often for it to be happening every stream. for pizza to come up so regularly. Alright, we're definitely on standards. Let's take a look at our pressurization. Is there a pressurization page? That would be a new one. ECS. There it is. Set environmental cabin system, control system. Could be something like that. This is a system I need to look up. What can we see? Yep, cabin altitude 6,500 feet, 200 feet per minute climb. 8 psi, yeah, that's pretty much the maximum psi you get out of the Airbus, so we'll see what happens to that. Landing elevation is at 0, we need to set that. Yep, that should have been done, so 200 feet-ish. There it is. Oh, look at that. First time we've got landing elevation set. Love this light bloom effect in Flight Simulator. Now, in real life, that would be really annoying, but we're going to enjoy that for a second as we fly along. Willeng says, you're finally flying to my country. We are indeed. We are indeed. Thor says, pizza would have been great for breakfast. We're on to pizza. This is Brianni's fault. Brianni started this conversation about pizza, I'm sure. Brianni says, 320 Sim Pilot doesn't like me now. Every time I start a pizza or food war, sorry. As long as no one shames anyone for their pizza choice, then it's fine. Ollie said, I only just started using VATSIM. Is mine messing up? Are there a lot of sensor controllers? They'll usually contact you, as long as you're connected properly, they should contact you. So gosh, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Good stuff. We're getting there. We're getting there. No problem at all. Well, we did have our timer running before. I've lost that now. Let's bring up the... let's have the VOR again. VOR needle. I don't see the point in the FMS needle at all. I'm sure there is a reason for it, but I'm not sure what that is. We're reaching eel already. So if we go to legs, do we see our arrival time? Look at that, 8 pages, but that's just going to show us... Yeah, it just shows us the legs. Oh, no, don't press that, press that. Discontinuity. Why is there discontinuity? We're going to have to solve that one as well. Debtors, then debtors for the arrival. Execute, thank you. James Cooper, thank you very much for your £5 donation. Really appreciate it, James. James says, so dirty, you wouldn't see Bruce Dickinson or John Travolta flying their 747s like that. No, you wouldn't, no. No, but isn't John Travolta's under... Did it have a roof to look after it? I imagine if you keep it in a hangar, you can have the luxury of keeping it very clean. This was a working airplane, and as we know now, it's probably been in storage for a little bit, sadly. But as of most airplanes this year, I suppose. But thank you very much for your £5 donation, James. Thanks for supporting the channel as always. Really appreciate it. Thor says, yeah, we can't create divisions over pineapple or fish for that matter on pizza. Why not both simultaneously? There you go. Pineapple, fish, pizza. Who's to complain? Tuna pizza. I've had a tuna pizza in France. Yeah, that's a thing. And I once saw on the menu a spaghetti bolognese pizza. It does exist. Dominic says, do you check if TCAS is working on Microsoft Flight Simulator? I got red dot today with a 0 on it, but no sound from TCAS. Other plane just flew behind me. Yeah, we did see the TCAS showing us an aircraft earlier, which is pretty good actually. That's always a nice feature, but we're off VATSIM now. It's just me. Yeah, V-Pilot. V-Pilot. So V-Pilot's the software I use to connect to VATSIM. V-Pilot came up with a really helpful message there, and that's actually what the message was, that ding that we heard earlier. The V-Pilot said, your simulator has crashed, V-Pilot will now exit. Just to rub it in, just to really make you you know what happened. That was a very nice of V-Pilot. Just going to get the recorder ready as well, so we have something. Ah, there's the banana. I don't know if it is called the banana, but there it is, showing our level off. Getting a bit of burst of energy now, so it thinks we'll level off in about a minute. Not bad. I think we'll be a tiny bit longer. So we will connect to VATSIM very shortly. I need to rebuild a flight plan. $39,000 feet, 1,000 to go. Mark says, did you just put that waypoint in twice? I did that by mistake and ended up flying in circles. Good point. Let's check. I think it was by doing the discontinuity like that. Oh, very good spot. Yeah. Delete. Execute. There you go. See, this is why you guys are here. Get that level off done. James, thank you very much for your £5 donation. James supporting the channel far too much. Thank you so much, James. James says, pineapple on pizza or not, let's start a war. Haha. Next up, Intel versus AMD. Well, I've already confessed to accepting pineapple on pizza as delicious. There you go. So I had to stop talking about it last time, which is why Brianni is worried. So Gosh says, pineapple improves anything and everything. There you go. See? Matthew Scott says, as a bus driver, you probably think the CRJ needs a lot of hands-on work, right? Yeah, and that's... We were talking about this earlier. At the start of the stream, we were saying how this is why I want to fly it a few times, just to get my hand in. Now, I did used to fly a regional aircraft, the Dash 8, which is, you know, obviously made by the same people, but it's a similar level of hands-on. You know, the Dash 8, you could be on QNH right now, and it wouldn't flash, it wouldn't warn you. You had to really be aware. The result is flying a long day, a 12-hour day, doing 4 flights or even more in one of these airplanes can be considerably more tiring than doing the same in an Airbus, where the Airbus it does look after you more. There's no doubt about it. Especially, you know, the thrust, you know, the auto thrust thing, it feels like a big deal, but it's not. The auto thrust, having manual thrust is actually you know, once you get used to it and you remember to add thrust when the airplane turns and things like that in the descent, you get quite used to that. More of the problem is the other systems. You know, you've got to remember to arm the reversers. You've got the nose wheel steering will not be working unless you turn it on, or it will be working at the wrong time. And those are just small examples, but yeah, it definitely is a lot more hands-on. You're intervening in a lot of the systems that aren't running automatically. Another thing about this style of airplane, let's go back to stats, is the cautions warning system, where it doesn't inhibit things as well. So getting those warnings on the ground when doors open and engines shut down and things like that. Now I remember that well on the dash, but it's something you get used to, but it is quite fatiguing to constantly be hearing the master warning go on the ground and so on. And the Airbus just silences so many things for you. It's a real luxury, I must admit. But that's why I quite enjoy this plane in Flight Simulator. There we go, 0.78, that'll be fine, because it's so different, and it is a lovely machine. It is a lovely machine. Really enjoying it. Okay, there we are in the cruise now. I wonder, probably they would at some point run through a systems check, I suppose. All looking good though. I like some of these screens. This is quite nice. That fluid quantity is very clear. How much you've got left. Not sure what that is. Is that throttle friction? I'm not sure. I've done ECS, hydraulics, electrics. There we go. Very simple page for this. I like that as well. All working. 115 volts, 400 hertz, same as the Airbus through the IDGs. Excellent. And the RAT does work. I have had it deploy accidentally before. What does menu do? See, I told you can just go through everything. Now let's not, before I break something. I need to learn what that page actually means. Okay, time for us to reconnect to VATSIM. I'll give you a lovely window view. So Gosh says, thanks for doing the Corfu VOR DME landing. I was able to follow through. Excellent. Yeah, that's a good fun VOR approach, and I really liked that. So yeah, thanks to Gosh. Thanks for coming along. Retro says, do you ever skip the flight, or do you just sit through the entire thing? What do you mean? You mean in Flight Simulator? I've always, on all my streams, I tend to stay as much as I can. Even the long haul, I think we took a total of, out of it was like a 12-hour flight, and I think we weren't away for too long. I was pretty pleased. So yeah, I don't know why I'm so proud of that fact. I don't think it's probably not a good thing that I managed to sit there for 12 hours on New Year's Day, but that's what we did. That's what we did. Right, joining into VATSIM then. Here we go. Connect. Now I got the name wrong. 265 EE 265 CJ7. Connect. We are back on VATSIM, guys. Excellent. Let's file our flight plan. Just going to change it around to EHAM, and I'm going to copy over the new route we had. Then we'll be ready to go. Thankfully, vPilot saved most of our information. You'll hear me clickety clacking away just for a moment, so make sure I don't press anything wrong. There we go. Right. Oh, I just pressed the wrong button. There we go. Don't worry, that warning was not for you. I'm getting a bit slow. Let's get back into that climb thrust. They're a bit slower than before, perhaps a little bit heavier. All looking good otherwise. Speed brakes are definitely in, gear is definitely up, flaps are definitely at 0, so we shan't complain. Matthew says, then you will like the Twin Otter. It just works so well in the Microsoft Flight Simulator environment. Yes, I can't wait for the Twin Otter, Matthew. Yeah, I really can't. The Twin Otter, so we used the Twin Otter not long ago. We took it to Barra in X-Plane 11, and I can't wait to try that out again in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yeah, definitely. I do like the Twin Otter. Really hands-on, and it's a really nice speed to be flying over Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's why I put up a video today in the Arrow, the Just Flight Arrow 3, because getting to sit low and slow over this scenery is just as good as getting to see it from up here, and we're whizzing over it now, but it's great fun to do that. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that Twin Otter. We can think of all sorts of adventures to get ourselves stuck into with that. Soren says, have you tried the Spitfire yet? It's a real handful to taxi, take off and land, but a joy to fly. So much appreciation for the guys that actually flew these for real. We have, yeah, there's a video on the Spitfire on the channel, Soren. Yeah, Spitfire is amazing. I found it so hard to take off. You had to be so gentle with the power and the rudder, and the same for the landing. But there's some good advice in the manual for it to help. But yeah, it is hard. The trick with the Spitfire is just don't change your power too rapidly. Don't stick on full power straight away when you try and take off. And when you're landing, don't immediately bring the thrust to idle straight away, or you'll just get a whole load of yaw and find it really hard to keep straight. Took me a while to learn that though. CRJ and Dash built by the same people, designed by different, says Lauren V. That is a very good point. CRJ no longer being built, of course. We can speed up there. Let's do 7.9. The CRJ, the last one was made in Feb 2021, so a month ago, sadly. Try and get that speed right. That's too much. Just there, maybe. The problem I'm having is my little TCA Airbus thrust lever thing is it's trying to jump into the detent. There we go. I think I might have to leave it there. See what we end up at climb thrust. Yeah, so the Dash 8 built by de Havilland in Canada initially, and then made by Bombardier later. I'm still seeing the word pizza a lot. Victor says, hello from Sweden. Always good when 320 sim pilot does a stream. Even better when he's flying just an hour away from a location. Excellent. Thanks for coming, Victor. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Mark V says, I'm a Boeing 737 pilot in the States, but isn't your transition level in the UK flight level 06? So the transition level depends. Yeah, 6,000 feet altitude on the climb out is typical. Yeah, not always. It does vary. And in the descent, it will vary. Usually, yeah, 7.5, something like that. Depending on the, obviously the QNH on the day, they do change it. There's that flashing. Quite good attention grab at the flashing. I quite like that. I prefer the box FMA change, but again, it's nice they've got it simulated where this flashes when you go into your capture. So, VNAV. Are we on our VNAV page? Yes. So let's check. It does have it in there. That's good. So let's go direct, and then we'll see the plan. So, scroll through. There we go. Look, it's got our vertical speed. So it is all ready to go. And as we get closer, it should appear up on here as well, I believe. Look at that. It's all in there. Required descents. Excellent. So very shortly we are going to look through it all. Check it out with the charts. I will have the charts ready for you guys. Oh, and there we go. See, that's great because it is clicking, so having that power off means that the first thing it does is turn on and gives you that warning. Rihanna says pizza. Aiden says, flying into those little short challenging runways to an Otter will be great for it. Yeah, it will, yeah. Well, Barra, I want to go to Barra. Now it's in Flight Simulator. I think they added it in the last update. Ed Haslam says the Twatter is my favourite plane. Can't wait. There you go. Yeah, sounding popular on this channel. Aiden's keen on it as well. Oh, Matthews has really started something there with, with the Twin Otter. Retro says, if the flight's more than 1 hour, I just skip the cruise. Yeah, but I do it because I've got so many people to sit and talk to. That's why I turn this into a sort of podcast, basically, or a late night Alan Partridge radio show, as I like to say. People are building brick ovens as well. Goodness me. Mark V says, how are the rotorcraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator? Even I struggle with hello controls. Yeah, no, I haven't tried them. I've been sent some great advice by one of our viewers about using the freeware Airbus helicopter. Yeah, but I haven't done it yet. James Cooper, thank you for your £10 donation, James. James says, booked a holiday to Greece yesterday from a UK airport in May 2022. Is there a chance you could be flying me there? No airports or regions mentioned for your privacy. Thanks, James. There's no way I would know, I'm afraid. You know, I hope there's a chance because I hope I'm still... I certainly hope I'm flying by then, and I hope I have a job. So yeah, fingers crossed. There is a chance I could be flying some of you on holiday in May 2022. I hope I could be flying you this year on holiday. That's my dream, if things can go better. Rakon says, please, it's Bombardier. Oh, so I called it Bombardier. I don't know if that's a UK thing or not, but apparently Bombardier. But thanks again, James, for your £10 donation. Really appreciate it. Rakon says, the 320 show, you need guests in the shared copy then. Yeah, the shared copy thing would be good. Lawrence says, haha, for Partridge, you'll have to go to Norwich Airport. Yeah, we will. I'm sure there's a Norwich Airport out there somewhere available. Mark says, the chat show is called In the Cockpit with 320 Sim Pilot. Yeah, that works as a name. That does work as a name. Can't argue with that. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Good stuff. Let's get some... Have we got the overhead lights on? Okay, right. Lawrence says, could we sponsor a Padday to do an Air Partridge livery? Paddy's already hard at work at the Jersey European. I can't imagine what an Alan Partridge livery could look like. In fact, I can, but it definitely wouldn't be suitable for this channel or for for a lot of people. For those of you who remember the graffiti that's put on Alan Partridge's car at the start of the Alan Partridge sort of documentary show. Oh, that would be a good livery. Oh, I'm making myself chuckle now. That's always a bad sign. That is always a bad sign. Nobody write it in chat or you'll get banned by the Streamlabs bot. Oh dear. No, I've never flown a Twin Otter in real life. I have flown on a Twin Otter though, Ed Haslam. Yeah, I have flown on one. Yeah, AHA Airlines. That would work. That would work better. Aidan says, have you ever thought of trying to get into a career in air freight? I don't think they're struggling half as much right now. Yeah, well, if I could, if it came to it, then I would happily do the freight. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, no doubt. More night flying, but yeah. But I love flying passengers as well. It's just flying, isn't it? It's all great. Thanks, Brandy. Yeah, I will definitely keep that in mind if it comes to it. Yeah, scuba instructor, fantastic. Just need to keep training you in fat and weights. Yeah. Now I remember fat floats. That's what you told us last time. Mark V says, seems to be pretty high fidelity to me so far, other than the fact the wind noise would be much louder. Yeah, no, I can agree with that. There's lots of settings. It's possible in the iPad maybe to change some of the audio. I haven't tried. I haven't noticed any issue with the wind noise. Pointy cockpits like this tend to be noisier though, and it's a fast aeroplane. So yeah, it does have those wipers in the vertical position, which is, you know, obviously more streamlined. The Dash 8 was noisy because the wipers were down here and they stuck out quite a lot. Now the Airbus does the same thing, but there's actually a little sort of notch built into the windscreen that protects the wipers so they're not very as noisy. On the Dash 8, the wipers, if you had them down at the side, were much noisier than if they were up vertically. Yeah. Very noticeable. Retro says, is it because of COVID you can't get up? No, I have a job. I must be clear. I do have a job, and I just hope that stays the same. Dougal has jumped out of many Twin Otters. Fantastic. Oh yeah, that's great. I've done that once and I loved it. Paddy says the graffiti is already on the model. Yeah. I can just I just remember that episode very well of Alan Partridge. Glad Sam agrees. Oh, there's that iPad. Yeah, this is a great trick. Really like this. What's the ETA? Well, we're already halfway there. In fact, we are getting close to our descent. I need to get on with this. Let's find out that range. Direct will show us. Our descent starts at Pibble. Yeah. Top of descent, 38 miles. Goodness me. Right, guys, let's brief this. Could be on... Oh, I need to be on 1228. Should get contacted by someone. Yeah, we're running behind on the briefing. No wonder. I was getting... You know, this is your guys' fault for making me talk about Alan Partridge for 25 minutes. No, of course not. It's entirely my fault, as ever, on streamings. This is why a 12-hour flight, I love it. That's why we had no trouble filling it with talking. So, nice, simple approach charts. Let me just get them all up for you guys over here. Expecting the ILS for that. And then, very simple airport parking. Right, guys. So, charts. There they are. No, there they aren't. There they are. Look at that. Detus, MS635, MS610, above 2,500 feet, max 200 knots. So we will do that. Nice low terrain. So 2,600 feet is our safe altitude. So we can descend to 3,000 feet on this leg. We need to be below 110, which is quite interesting, probably because of airspace, but above 25 by the time we get to there. From there, we can fly the ILS. So that takes us to MS610. Oh, interesting. So is there a transition chart? Nope. Looks like that's why there's a discontinuity. Looks like there's a vector, and then you just get vectored onto the ILS, but we've just drawn it ourselves. We can absolutely do that ourselves if we need to. ILS DME 1081, course 349, so I'll tune that in a moment. And we've got our minima. We're a Cat C. I believe some CRJs could be Cat D. I think they had quite high approach speeds, but I think that's the smaller ones because they didn't have slats, is my understanding. We have slats, however, we can slow down, so we're a Cat C airplane according to the dude, and I trust him, of course. So that's going to be a Cat 1 approach. We'll go for 436. Let me enter that very shortly. After landing, nice long runway, but I think as well I found no evidence that CRJs land at anything other than full flap, so we will go with the full flap landing unless anyone knows otherwise. Roll along, coming off at alpha. We won't need much reverse, and it's manual brakes. I don't think we'll need any of that really. It's probably decelerate on its own. Things we need to remember from last time is we're going to make sure we set the course, the source to localizer and not leave it on FMS. The risk being on FMS that there is sometimes a bug in Microsoft Flight Simulator that doesn't like that. Anyway, alpha after landing, and we'll scroll along. We'll taxi along and land and park up over on these yellow bits here. If we go around, well, let's talk about the ILS actually. Standard 3-degree ILS, nothing too exciting there. As I said, not too much terrain. Should be nice views on the way in, although we'll get the weather in a moment. And then if we go around, we have a straight ahead to 2,500 radar vectoring for the new approach. That's the dream sort of go around. Maybe I'd prefer a higher stop altitude, but aside from that, I can't ask for more. Configuration wise, 7.1 I want to be flaps at 20 and the speed back to sort of 160 knots as a maximum, and then we'll put the gear out soon after just to give myself more time. Things we need to remember from last time: higher power setting on approach than I'm used to. It takes quite a bit of thrust at full flap, quite draggy amount of flap, so remember that. We talked about the fact we're going to have to change this source to make sure we have the green source by the time we're on approach. We're going to tune that shortly. And we need to arm those thrust reversers or they won't deploy. Although I'm sure we'll have plenty of stopping power either way. Great. Hopefully that covers a lot of the things. We'll always find out more as we go down. Chief Simpilot, good to see you. Thanks for coming along, Chief Simpilot. Chief Simpilot is another YouTuber, part of the Simwings community. Good to see you here. I hope you're doing very well this fine Sunday. There's a VATSIM event at Mount... Is there? Yes, you always land flat 45 in the CRJ. Thanks. Perfect. Nice. So it says, where do I program the MD-ADH and the CRJ? That is an excellent question. I feel like we did this last time. That's the Barrow. Speed select. That's the radio altimeter test. You can use that for. Not something we'll use today. Oh yeah, so let's get it on the iPad and let's set the performance figures. I'm going to write down my VAP for today. So, performance, landing speeds. You can see there's no option to change it, so I think this is all we get. So set all, and then 134, I will tell it to set later on. So 134, so I'm going to aim to be about 139. So these are high approach speeds, you know. The Airbus can approach below 130. And that's VREF, not VAP. That's just your reference speed. So you'd probably be a bit faster, like I say. It's about 139. So it's no wonder that the 200 CRJs without the slats may be a Cat D aeroplane. Doesn't surprise me, actually. I can't believe there's a VATSIM event. That is funny. Here's our first controller. 12137. Still haven't set the radio panel up properly. Oh, actually, we need to get the ATIS as well. Right, we have, just to let you guys know, it's information Golf at Malmo. What's the important information we can take from that? The wind is
Copenhagen Control, hello, Lufthansa
3.0 at 8, so nice northerly winds. Temperature 3, it is a cold day there. And QNH 1013, well that makes life easy, doesn't it?
Hello, Lufthansa 7, Charlie Mike, Copenhagen identified.
Logging off at 8 Zulu, perfect, we should be fine for that. James Cooper, thank you very much for your £10 donation, James. James says, how do airline pilots transition to private work? So there are pilots that fly select in smaller jets from, I won't say that, but yeah, they, it's just another career path. After your commercial flight training, if you're lucky enough to get a job flying a private jet, then that's what you'll do. You'll just be trained on a different airplane. It's the same license, they're just trained on a different airplane. That's all it is. Yeah. Let's check in then. Malmo, good afternoon. Jersey 265, flight level 3902. We are routing to Bibble.
Station calling. What did you say my call sign were?
Jersey 265.
Yeah, what did you call me?
I thought I probably got it wrong. I said Malmo, but you can't be because we're too high still. But there we go.
I should vector you back to Germany. Jersey 265 Copenhagen Control. Hello, Squawk 5152.
Squawk 5152. Thanks, Jersey 265. That's okay. We've already done Amsterdam and Belfast. Oh dear. Right. Let's set this. So I find it easier than using my radio panel to do it like this, to be honest. 5152. Yeah, you do have to be careful.
Before I'll get you a climb shortly.
You do have to be careful not giving controllers the wrong name. They won't appreciate it. 5152, there we go, that's in. Right, yeah. So that's it, James. Thank you very much for the donation. Really appreciate it. Very kind, James, as ever, for supporting the channel so much.
And Jersey 265, Squawk Mode Charlie, please.
Squawk Mode Charlie, thanks, Jersey 265.
Jersey 320.
This is a V-pilot thing. My V-pilot seems to not automatically Squawk Mode Charlie like it does an X-pilot, and I don't understand why. MDDH is the centre row. Centre column rotation knob to the left of the PFD. Thank you very much, guys. You guys are always over this. Centre column rotation knob. Oh, there it is, of course. DH, what am I talking about? Right.
Jersey 265, you're cleared by DD 21 Tango, arrival runway 35 and ready descent flight level 29. Hello.
Jersey 265, we are cleared for Data 1 Tango, runway 35. Sorry, say again the cleared flight level, Jersey 265.
29, hello.
Thank you, clear when ready, descend flight level 290, Jersey 265. We are embarrassing ourselves now. Right, we definitely need to get down. We are well past our descent point.
Descending flight level 80, Lufthansa 7 Charlie Mike.
290. So we were told that vertical speed is more common, so I'm just going to go wind that down. It looks like just over 2,000 feet per minute. Go idle the thrust levers.
Delta 675 Copenhagen.
See if 2,500 feet per minute works out. Right, minima, we need 436, otherwise known as 440.
Sweden and on 127.750, cargo log 7256.
Push, set. Goodbye. Push, there it is. And then scroll up. And this is the MDA, and we'll go with 440. There we go. So we've got our MDA. Perfect. It's all coming together. Let's wind in that range a little bit. Let's pass. I had one thing I really wanted to do, which was tune the ILS. 1081,349.
Travis 275, leaving my airspace ready to Unicom 122, bye-bye.
Over to Uniform 122.8, Skyway.
181.
Thank you, bye-bye.
349. I think it will take that though. It does seem to take that from the FMS anyway.
Speedbird 44, leaving my airspace, switch to Unicom.
But we're going to have to do it ourselves. Course bar 349.
Bye bye, Speedbird 44.
Cashew band 481, leaving my airspace, switch to Unicom.
Everyone else is being far more professional.
Unicom, Gus 481, bye-bye.
Thor says it's not for the it's the CRJ. It doesn't do it with the expected sim bars or something like that. Ah, okay, there we go. Call him Stockholm Radar next time, I'm begging you.
Direct Helgoland and the final please Charlie.
Yeah, of course, we're dealing with Copenhagen before we head through. Yeah, I should have. This is why, in real life, if you don't know who you're about to talk to, and let's face it, there's no reason you would definitely know every frequency.
Helgoland is Delta Hotel Echo 4.
I'm a bit slow here.
Hey, thank you.
You can just
Lufthansa 420, call Sweden on 127.75.
you can just end up saying radar or something like that, and they can't get upset. Right, 80 miles out, we're definitely high. So we're going to keep it at idle. I'm going to keep that vertical speeds. Keep us dropping down. I think 3,200 should be achievable. Mr. Espresso says, today's destination, Malmo, is the scene of one of my favourite Nordic noir crime TV shows, The Bridge. Exactly, the awesome bridge that leads over to Copenhagen. Yeah, fantastic. I haven't seen that show, but I have heard of it. James Cooper, thank you for your £3.20 donation. James, you've been supporting us far too much today. Thank you. James says, last one, so best make it a classic. Yeah, that is a classic. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, James. And thanks for supporting the channel so much today. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. Brianni says, can we get the minimum of 11 more likes? Then we'll have 320 likes. A great number. Yeah, if you are enjoying the video, do please hit the like button. It makes a big difference. Thank you so much. See, says, good evening. Can anyone help me? I have a problem engaging the autopilot. I see only for a short moment 2 green lamps. Then they've gone and your pass off.
Radio check.
That's a strange one. Could be that. I'm not sure. I'll leave it to the chat.
545.
Let's out capture at 29. We're going to need more descent quickly.
3535.
We can do our descent checklist. So we've done landing elevation 200. Fuel is checked. TCAS is set. Radar is on. Actually, no, it was on earlier, wasn't it? Let's put the radar. And let's add the thrust before we slow down too much. You can hear the wind noise change.
Delta 678, you identify.
This is going really hard. Let's get a descent in. Jersey 265, request descent.
Station calling, say again, sorry.
Jersey 265, request descent.
Oh, the one who called me Malmo, Jersey 265, descent flight level 200.
Descent flight level 200, Jersey 265, yeah. Oh dear. We're lucky he's letting us descend at all. There is a rule in this channel which is after you go off that sim once, don't log in again. We are really high here. We are really high. So the magic is we're nice and slow, you see. I've got the speed right back. So now I can wind. If I do 3,500 feet per minute, we've got lots of speed to keep that. So yeah.
Copenhagen, Jersey 320, requesting further descent.
Your damper on. There you go, Peter. Okay, yeah, someone helped you out there. Perfect.
Please send 90, Jersey 320.
Jersey 265, turn left heading 310.
Left heading 310, Jersey 265. We are going to get punished big time.
Delta 678.
Yeah, good point. Matthew says start with the tutorial. It is the way to do it. This is just a very different airplane.
Delta 678.
And as we were saying earlier, it doesn't do things automatically. It asks you have to do these systems yourself just to convince it to work. And that's just how the real airplane is. They've modelled it, so yeah. That's why it's more hands-on. Okay, so we've done these.
Sweden control on 131.275.
Radar. Oh, I'm getting messages now. to weather. There we go. And we'll have tilting auto, TA. I quite like that, although that is confusing with the TCAS, of course. Already leveling off again. But who knows how many track miles he's going to give us because of my my misnaming. I'll be honest with you guys, real controllers do not... I've never had any of them complain. So we're just going to keep the speed back. There's no...
Beeline 6, not Beeline, wow, Jersey 265. I'm allowed to give aircraft in within 10 miles to Sweden, so I'm going to vector around a little bit, and then you can go directly to South last, but then you can also see the beautiful country of Denmark.
Okay, thank you. We'll take the vectors. And yeah, we've heard Denmark is nice. We'll have to stop there one day on our way back.
735 Charlie, call Maastricht 135.7, bye-bye.
Oh dear. So he's trying to say to us that he isn't vectoring us around for the sake of it, but
735 Charlie, Maastricht 134.
I will reserve judgment on that.
7, Charlie, bye-bye.
Jersey 265, descent flight level 12, Salon.
Descent flight level 120, Jersey 265. Okay. 120. 120. Keep it coming down. Brianni says he does not like you. No, he's not impressed. He was really upset with my initial call, and now you can see what that has resulted in with our track. But we are now on our vertical profile, so actually he's helped us out because we were so busy setting up. We hadn't done half the stuff we needed to. I haven't finished his checklist. So we've done landing data. Approach briefing is done. Next is before landing, where we're going to do our thrust reversers, configure, and set up the approach. Good stuff. Mr. Espresso says, hope we see this Orison bridge during the approach. Yeah, I hope so too, actually. I don't know if it's included in the ORBX scenery. I do not know. Unusually... Oh, no, I do know ORBX scenery works because I took the thumbnail from there. So, no, I was going to say, I always put the airplane there to check it does load. Ethan says, is this one of those I don't know if I should laugh or cry moments? No, I think...
265, turn right heading 070.
Right heading 070, Jersey 265.
Jersey 320, call Sweden on 131275, bye-bye.
131275, Jersey 320, thanks ATC, bye-bye.
I think he's being quite serious. I think, because there's a lot of us
524,
arriving at once. I think he's saying he needs 10 miles separation, so he's just giving us a chance to enjoy Denmark. Now, whether we specifically are being put behind people is another question. But, where are we?
Center 7 Charlie Mike, call approach on 119.
Now we're pointing the right way. I don't mind speeding up a little bit.
Approach 1998, Standard 7 Charlie Mike, bye-bye.
Jersey 265, in that right turn you can proceed direct to Datus.
Thank you, direct Datus, Jersey 265. Now, he did call us Beeline a second ago, so I don't feel like he's entirely allowed to be that upset with us. Datus.
You're cleared by the Datus 1 Tango arrival runway 35.
Nav. Right, FMS 1. And we're routing to Datus. It's all coming together, and you can see we're slightly below our profile. Vertical speed required on this page says 1,000 feet per minute. To be 10,000 feet at Datus, yeah. That's what works in my favour. It's quite easy to do this actually. When you're fiddling with the autopilot, I'm getting used to sort of looking over at this flight PFD. Now you wouldn't do that in the real airplane. There we go, 1,000 feet per minute. Actually, it wants a bit more. Why is it?
Hello, Lufthansa 1 Charlie, Yankee Copenhagen,
yeah, get the nose down. Okay.
Squawk 4705, Monarch 2 Echo arrival runway 04 left.
As it works its way over there.
Monarch 4 Echo arrival, collection 2 Echo arrival.
Paddy says, I drove over the Orison Bridge the day after it opened while on family holiday. That's cool, yeah, very good.
Contact Maastricht on 134.
Thor, thank you so much, Thor, for your $10 donation. Really appreciate it, Thor. Thank you. Thor said, break a landing gear. Have a good landing. Thank you very much, Thor. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for supporting the channel so many times. I really appreciate it. Really kind. And thank you for your donation. Very kind of you. I hope you're doing very well, Thor. Thanks for coming along today as well. Jorsten says, wouldn't a ATC tell you which next control station would be? Yeah, they usually do. They usually do. But sometimes you're quite busy, especially in busy parts of the world where you're changing frequency a lot. Birdman says, I don't think he's upset, just going to get you in. Yeah, no, he's being very nice. He's being very nice, really. Now, we're getting this flashing because it's warning us we are... we've got this wrong transition altitude. Did they put the transition level in their ATIS? That's something you would need to set. Yep, transition level 6.5 today.
Jersey 265, descend flight level 9 at settle.
Descend flight level 9 at 0, Jersey 265. There's 90. And let's go next page, and put in 6.5. Does it work or do I need the F? Ugh. Airbus isn't so fussy. And then it stops flashing, you see. So that's great. Right, yeah, we definitely get that speed back to 250 now. We are coming down to our 10,000 feet mark. Looking good though, looking all reasonable. Let's get that heading back. So landing excuses, not used to the CRJ, not used to Malmo, and now, what else could it be? Think of a few things. Mark says, did I miss something or did he not give you the local QNH? No, they'll give it to us when we change to our...
switching a little bit around in the flight levels. Let me know when you want to start your descent.
They'll give it to us for our... when they clear us to altitude, basically.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Could you give me a descent to flight level 250?
Lauren B says, fly, we never used B-line. That was BA and then Brussels. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. B-line was being used by 2. But the problem is the, I think the ICAO code for Brussels...
265, call Sweden, 131275, bye-bye.
131275, Jersey 265, bye-bye.
Lufthansa 1 Charlie
There you go, he forgot in the end.
Back to next door, Lufthansa 1 Charlie
Let's try and keep 250 knots. We've got to pay attention. This long radar vectoring around the terminal area. This is where you'll notice not having the auto thrust. Right, this is Sweden.
127,
You definitely said Sweden.
Thank you and goodbye.
Sweden, good evening. Jersey 265, descending flight level 90 to Tatus.
Jersey 265, Sweden, radar contact. Tatus 1 Tango, runway 35.
Tatus 1 Tango for 35, Jersey 265.
Danish 64, Quebec.
Okay, looking good. We're on profile.
Danish 64,
Total distance to Malmo. I like this screen a lot, actually. Look, 50 miles. We're at 13, so if we times this by 3, that would be 39 plus 10, 49. So we're perfectly on our 3-degree profile, which is what we would hope, because we're following the guidance here.
Left heading 330, clear ILS approach, runway 35.
Left 330,
clear ILS approach, runway 35. We know we have to be 220 by the time we're on the way in. Under pressure from ATC, yeah, aren't we always?
Delta 678.
Paddy says, my dad is a civil engineer and was really excited about it, and I'm fairly certain half planned the whole holiday around it. Yeah, I bet he did.
Descent to flight level 100, 100.
Delta 678.
Bit of a wing view, there we go.
100.
Love it. Love the water effects. So we are getting there. We are presumably... I think we're a bit south. Might have to do a group flight at some point. Yeah, we're passing too far south to see the bridge and everything. It's up here. And again, I'm not sure if it's in the sim. Does anyone know? Did they add it?
Danish 64 Quebec for higher. Call Bremen 123.
Can't spend too long outside and risk losing our speed.
Danish 64 Quebec.
Matthew Scott says, believe me, doing an approach on your own while commentating would be a total mess. Dear. Yeah, it does. This is why I end up doing my. I'd like to reassure anyone watching that when we set up airplanes for approaches in real life, we do it earlier than I ever do it on a stream. But yeah, there we go. And as we said, this is a high workload airplane. It does take to review at this point.
Gravity, you cleared via the arrival route.
Look at that speed. This is my thrustmaster throttles are just
Delta 678.
The
I'm
range
not sure,
of motion I get for this is
did
just
you
not as much as I'd like.
To fly the standard arrival, Aerosoft 1 Tango?
So yeah, I need to figure out a way to get it, but it is totally possible,
Delta
totally workable.
678, which arrival? ILS 3.
So we're now on the Delta's arrival.
Okay, maybe it's easy if I just vector you. So Delta 678, flying.
We're leveling off now. There's 10,000 feet.
And it's vectoring.
See it all happening, and you've got to keep an eye on the
35.
speed. So get the lights on. I should put everything on. Let's get the seatbelt signs on so we don't forget. Oh no, no, not off. On. There we go. My pet peeve. This start of switch, I don't understand why it's used.
Reduce speed 180 knots.
Right, 34 miles out, 10,000 feet. Yeah, okay, we're certainly not low, put it that way.
Eagle 206, climb to flight level.
Just recenter the heading bug. So I may get myself a little bit lower on purpose. There's out capture. So if he doesn't give us further descent soon, I'm going to
Lufthansa 661, radar contact.
slow down. Now,
level
it's a bit of an odd one. Are we clear to descend with the procedure? We've definitely made the below 110 restriction.
Delta 678, fly heading 125.
Now it should be possible to display the constraints here as well, actually. Pretty sure I've seen that. Anyway, let's not fiddle around with that. Lock will be tuned, yes please. For Jersey 265, request descent.
Jersey 265, descend to altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1014.
Descend 4,000 feet, QNH 1014, Jersey 265. Here we go then. Yeah, I like this trick. I'm going to do this. Let's look over at that one. 4,000 feet. 4,000 feet. Vertical speeds. Down we go. Need a target of about, let's do 1,400 feet a minute, just to give us lots of room now. And let's set the QNH. Typically it had to be slightly different, didn't it? So I'm going to push that. Push it again. 1014. 1014, they are synchronized. Love that feature, always want them synchronized. So this is going to get a bit awkward. I'm going to transition over from the FMS. You can see it's tuned it. It's got course 034. Well, it's not the right course. We want course 349, 1081. So it has got... Let's just check it's got the tuning right. 1081, yeah, good stuff. Because we did it manually on this side anyway. Speed's getting a bit slow.
Eagle Air 206, contact reading control 127.750.
A320N simulation says, hey Captain, any idea how to fix this? On takeoff my plane refuses to rotate. Ah, sorry. If you join the Discord, that's a good place to ask if about things like that.
127.750.
Oh, there you go, Matthew says the answer. Switch to modern flight model.
It's 127.750.
That's the great thing about this, you know, this community here. You guys can solve almost anything. It's impressive, very impressive. Right, there we go. I'm going to now, to save myself doing it later, I'm going to set VREF 132 on there, so that's going to be left alone. So we can focus on other things. We're descending to 4,000 feet. We've set the QNH 6,000 feet. We've got 21 miles to go. Let's slow down. I'm going to go idle thrust. Slow down. This vertical profile. Oh, there's the TCAS working. Excellent. It does work.
Lufthansa 76 November, Sweden Control. Good evening. Identified. Cleared. Buckley 1 Tango. Arrival runway 35. Descent flight level 100.
Matthew Presley, good to see you again, Matthew. We've been using some of your tips from last time. Matthew says heading sync, heading green needles, approach mode. Heading sync, heading. No. There we go. And it stayed in heading. Course 349. 347 is pretty close.
2 Papa November, Sweden Service.
Let's do the same over there.
1 Tango, runway 35, descent flight level 110.
99. Yeah. I'm going to just take that as how they want us to do it. It is displaying, which is good news. In the Airbus, we would just leave it all as it was, and it would just all do it together. There's traffic in front of us, pretty cool. I can see that's red then green, so I know that they're going left. Sorry, right to left. We're bang on the profile, but we're a little bit fast, you see, but slowly getting back.
Jersey 265, descend altitude 2,500 feet, speed 180 knots when convenient.
Descend altitude 2,500 feet, 180 knots, Jersey 265. Here we go then. Oh, if I'm going to have to use the speed brakes, I find the speed brakes really hard.
Sweden, hello, lot 7901.
They're very different. So
4,800.
No.
Lot 7901 to Sweden
Oh,
control,
thank
identified
goodness.
climb flight
Thank
level
goodness.
250.
That was heart stopping. I wouldn't believe it would happen again. 2,500.
Lufthansa 661, contact
And I wanted 180 knots. Now I do have the speed brakes assigned. I did have them assigned to an axis.
123,
There we go. Look, they do work.
Lufthansa 67 November, continue descent, altitude 5,000 feet.
We're doing 400 feet per minute.
QNH
I'm just going to get down now and slow down just to make my life easy. And that traffic is really close in front of us actually. So let's slow right down. Below 230 knots we can get to flaps 1.
And Sweden, Jersey 320 comes fully established from runway 35 at 10 miles.
Okay. Now this isn't going to be, you know, someone used to this airplane can do a really efficient descent, but we're not going to be quite that good. Let's see 500 feet per minute and get that speed
Jersey
back.
265 on this heading, cleared ILS, runway 35.
On this heading, cleared ILS 35, Jersey 265. Okay, on the heading we're cleared the ILS.
Make that speed 160 knots or less.
Yeah.
Until, actually, 160 until distance 6.
160 to 6, Jersey 265. Okay, here we go then. Getting the speed back to 160. Let's go to flaps 20, which has a surprisingly high speed limit. We are clear for the approach, so we're going to need to do that left turn now. We've already gone through it. That's no good. So heading round, too busy fiddling with everything else. We are on the vertical profile. That's fine. So I'm just going to intercept it myself from the other side. Let's get the speed brakes in.
One person on board.
Thrust back. There's 160 knots. The next risk is that glide slope. So, oh, I think it's struggling with the traffic. It's loading a lot of traffic. Right, approach is armed. Lock 1, glide slope. There we go. 160 to 6, he said. So we can't slow down early. The reason is traffic behind us. I'm going to arm those reversers now, so that's done. Oh, forget that.
We'll remain below the TMA for now.
There's the traffic in front. We are well below the glide slope, so that's fine. We can level off for a bit. Lock 1 out, capture at 2,500, looking good. Thank you very much, Paddy, for your £5 donation. Really appreciate it, Paddy. Thank you. Paddy says, another fantastic stream. Always glad I can join in and contribute in my own little way to this wonderful community. Thanks, Paddy. You've done loads for us, and we really appreciate it. And thanks so much for coming along, and thank you for being so generous. Really kind. So in 2 miles we can slow down. I said I want to intercept flaps 20 and then configure, which is what we're going to do. 2,500 feet is already set for the go around. Thank you very much, Paddy. Really appreciate it. Very kind of you to donate. As I said, you do so much for us anyway. And there's Malmo coming into view. Maybe it was the scenery loading that did that little stutter. I don't know. Let's push heading to line it up.
265, contact, actually reduce final approach speed, contact tower 118.8.
Final approach speed 118.8. Jersey 265. Bye. Right. Gear down.
Lufthansa 67 November.
Loads of thrust actually having to be added now as we reduce to final approach speeds, which is about here. That's full. Add more thrusts. It doesn't like being level, but there's a glide slope capture. I'll tune our traffic when we're ready. I think something like 60%.
You will be number 3.
It is very busy up there. 1188. So there we go. We've got the speed. Let's leave that all alone. 7, 8. Right. How are we looking then? So we're on the profile. We are through the red out range, looking good. We're on the QNH. We're visual with the traffic in front. Hopefully they get off the runway quickly. I don't know how to do a go around in this airplane. I haven't read the tutorial for that, so we shall find out. Matthew Presley says arm approach. Thanks, Matthew. Matthew, how do we go around? Let us know. Tower. Let's see. We are Jersey today. 265. We are on final approach. Runway 35. 6 miles. 6 miles out.
Jersey 265. Stoop Tower. We continue approach, runway 35, expect late landing clearance, wind 300 degrees, 90 knots.
Continue approach, Jersey 265. Right, late landing clearance expected. This is tight because we're not approaching that slow. The Airbus is slower, you know. Will I start the recording? Great point, guys. Great point. Recording started. Let's see if we can get away with it. Thank you, Ella van der Veen. Thank you. Power back. There's a YouTube video going around. Great. I'll have to look that one up. TCAS working nicely though, but 2.5 miles, that is really sporty spacing. That is, we're actually within 2.5 because I suspect we're approaching slightly faster. But thanks, Matthew. Yeah, we have to look that up. Yeah, recorder's going. Thanks, checkpoints. My worry is they're probably approaching slower than us. Anyway, we're 3,000 feet and stable. What we should have done is flight attendant, passenger signs, thrust reversers, landing gear, slats and flaps. We've done all of those. Great stuff. Right, let's give it a go then. Manual brakes, remember, vacating off to the left. They've done a great job in front, actually. I think this will be all right. So, problem with this airplane, not problem, but something to remember is it's easy to try and flare high. So we don't want to do that. Thanks, Matthew. Set toga, flaps 8, positive gear up. And there we go. Thanks, Matthew. We will do that. So flaps 8 pretty quickly.
Star 10 for your Yankee and Delta, Jersey 320.
Jersey 265, runway 35, clear to land.
To land, 35, Jersey 265. Autopilot off. I think I'll go for this view. Keep that thrust in. Keep it gentle. Very sensitive on the pitch. I don't know what Matthew thinks. Is the pitch sensitive in the CRJ? It does feel it, but that could just be my sensitivity curves.
100.
Thrusters off a bit low there.
50, 40, 30.
Idle thrust. Bit of a float. Settle down.
10.
There we go. At the end of the touchdown, but still within it. Get those reversers out. It's that, as I knew I'd do that, it's that the temptation to flare high just because that's what I'm used to. This is a really low-nosed airplane. Right, let's get those brakes on. We want to make this one because I did float to the end of the touchdown. We don't want to mess up somebody behind us. Okay, here we go. Reversers you can see are active, I think. That seems to have worked out. Where's this vacating point? Expecting the line. Get that speed right under control. We made it. Great job to the plane in front. Really great. And there's the cabin crew PA. I love that. Working brilliantly. Welcome to Malmo, everyone. Just hope we can find some parking. There's the yellow buildings I promised. Is there someone on the approach behind us? Yes. Alright, let's get on those brakes. Fantastic. How did that work out then? Sounds like it went okay for you guys. That was what a flight we've had. Yeah, right, reversers are gone. Let's get off the runway. We don't want to be causing problems for those behind us now.
And Tower Jersey 320, stand 10.
Thanks, Chief Sim Pilot. Sounds like it worked out. And these are perfect. Perfect. We get lucky sometimes.
Jersey 320.
Hard not to float at high speeds. Yeah, we were a bit fast indeed. Indeed.
Thank you very much, Jersey.
Can't get anything past you guys. Right. I think he's just called up another Jersey. Jersey 265, runway vacated.
67 November, let's approach runway 35.
2 stations at once. B1 265, taxi stand 1 via Charlie.
Stand 1 via Charlie, Jersey 265, thank you.
Station on final, please.
Matthew says, a little bit. I hardly ever move the yoke more than 2 or so inches in the real jet. It has a ton of control. There you go. So it is sensitive. Well, yeah. So it's me using too much side stick. Right, let's side stick using too much yoke. So Alpha, stand 1. It's in front of us. Perfect. Let's get ourselves out of the way, everyone. Mark, thank you for your £5 donation. Really appreciate it, Mark. Mark says, well done. Thank you, Mark. Really kind of you. James says, amazing stream yet again. Sorry, Mr. Start. No problem. We had a couple of goes at the start. Ebos says, lovely flight. Thanks, Ebos. Thanks for coming along. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. Now, normally at this point, we would bring the flaps up. We would turn off the lights and so on. I'm going to leave it running. You know why. We've got our recorder to go and use in a second. Maha says, that ATC sounds familiar. Oh, do they? There you go. Yeah, if you did enjoy the video, do please hit the like button. Thanks, Ed. Ed's got some appreciative emojis. Thanks, Steve. I'm going to leave this stuff out just so I can do it. This is the ORBX Malmo scenery. That's what you're looking at here. And thank you again, Mark, for that £5 donation. Really appreciate it.
Student Tower.
There's that wing flex bouncing up and down. And there's Malmo, nice and yellow. Yeah, this is the ORBX Malmo scenery. Thanks, Dougal. Yeah, well recovered. Yeah, we had a few wobbles. So as we said, you would certainly get the... Well, we can turn the radar off. That should be off by now. Not sure if it's automatic. It was in the dash. Off. There we go. No, not test. Off. Oh. Stand 1. There it is, all written up. Yeah, these old yellow jet bridges. Very, well, it's built in the 1970s, and it certainly looks like it. Thanks, Richard Tango. Glad you enjoyed it. Thanks, Ethan's Aviation. Replay coming very soon, guys. Very, very, very soon. Thanks, Mike. Love this livery. Love the dirt on the wings and everything. That's a really nice effect. Oh, there's... Yeah. That's all good. Perfect. Right. Obviously, the lights would come off at this point. But we're going to leave all that. And there's the docking system. I don't know how to make that work in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I know they've managed to get one in Gatwick that sort of works. And we do have a jet bridge. Now, these jet bridges don't move very much. You can see they're basically fitted to the ground, so you have to line up absolutely perfectly. So I suspect we would be using our little air stairs here. And we'll set the parking brake. Good news, here we are. Matthew said, is it hard to flare when you are used to an aircraft with underwing engines? Exactly, it is, yeah. And I've done it every flight so far in the CRJ. And I try and tell myself not to do it, but I really struggle not to flare high because I'm expecting to touch the ground earlier. Yeah. I was talking to Andy a bit earlier today about this. Pilots who are used to normal-sized aircraft who then go and fly the 747 have the same thing where their first landing in the 747 they try and flare far too late and end up not flaring at all. Right, we're disconnecting from VATSIM. We are going to start up our replay. Let's go and have a look. There should be a nice long float for us to enjoy, certainly. So, click replay. There we go. Ah, it's a fantastic tool, this replay function. Let's hope it works out for us. A little surprised the camera's moving like that. It's just about working. So, pause, zoom. Chief Sim Pilot, thank you very much for your $5 donation. Really appreciate it, Chief Sim Pilot. Chief Sim Pilot said, not here for recognition, but because we love your channel and what you and your team represents. Cheers, Captain. Thank you so much, Chief Sim Pilot. That's really kind of you. Really appreciate it. I hope you're doing very well. And thanks so much for your kind donation to the channel. Really kind of you. And thanks for coming along today. Again, check out Chief Sim Pilot, part of the Simwings community and another streamer flying a variety of airplanes. Right, resume. So we're going to see that float. So here we go. Here's me thinking my wheels are about to touch the runway. Why aren't they touching the runway? Lowering the nose a bit, picking the nose up, lowering the nose, picking the nose up, just in time at the end. And it worked out. It did work out. End of the touchdown zone, but not a problem on a runway this size. You can see that scenery really struggling. I'm using the Flight Recorder Replay. Really great tool. Freeware tool on flightsim.to. So look, we can even, if I'm really clever, I can give you, I'll give you the wing view in a moment. But if I go to the drone view, showcase, free camera, drone, we get rid of drone follow. I'm getting used to the drone, guys. It's becoming one of my favorite toys. And we can go and get one of our classic runway views of the landing that we always like to have. So yeah, glad you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much for coming along. Thanks, Mr. Espresso. Yeah, the CRJ, it's a different beast. It's a different workload, but it's great fun to get your teeth into something different. Certainly. There we go. Let's put ourselves here, and we can zoom in a bit and resume the replay. Let's get ourselves centered. Matthew Presley says, if you ever sat in my jump seat, you'd be bracing for impact because the flare isn't really much of a thing, especially with the 900. At least how I fly it, the ground effect really catches it. There you go. And that's the other thing. It's got those low wings. So they sit nearer to the ground than in the 320. So the ground effect will really pick it up. And there we go. There's that float. And down we come. Those spoilers up is a glitch with the replay tool. It is freeware and it doesn't talk very well with some things at times. So yeah. Right. That is enough of that. Let's put it back on the approach. Hopefully I've got enough approach to do that with. Let's put ourselves out of drone view. And we'll go into the cabin. Predrag Jankovic, thank you so much for your donation. Really kind of you. Let me just pause that replay. Thank you for your 1,000 RSD. I'm sorry I won't get the guarantee right, but thanks so much for your 1,000 RSD donation. Really kind of you. Predrag says, great work, Captain. thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you for coming along, and thank you for donating towards the channel. It's very kind of you, and I really appreciate it. Right, as I was saying then, thank you guys all so much for coming along. I do apologise for the spoilers up. That's, like I say, a bug with the replay and nothing else. It's nothing to do with the Aerosoft. But yeah, it's great to have you guys come along, and I really appreciate it. Thank you to all the moderators who've been taking the time to look after us all here. Thank you to those who very kindly donated. I really appreciate it. Very generous of you. Thank you to everyone just watching along and chatting, and even if you're not chatting, just watching along, it makes a big difference. Do please hit the like button on the way out if you have enjoyed the video. Thank you as well to Matthew Presley for your help, and Matthews, of course, for working on this airplane, and Aerosoft for sending it over to us on the channel. So really appreciate it, and yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let's see. Paddy says, if you let the replay run until the spoilers come back down, then it will set back right again when you rewind. Okay, let's give that a go, just for our finale. Why not? It's worth getting that right. I feel like we could break the simulator pretty easily. There we go. So I'm going to say resume replay, pause replay, put it back up. Great tip from Paddy. Right, guys, outro rock music coming. Thank you again to Padday for your very kind Serbian dinar donation. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much. And we will see you guys very soon in another live stream or tutorial coming soon to the channel. Thank you, guys. You all have a great evening, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.